Hey, hey.
Good evening. How you doing?
I'm trying to wake up.
Oh, you ain't been taking a nap, have you?
Man, I took a nap and slept. I've gotten this routine down now to where I go in the afternoon and my old behind lays in bed and watches the old Little House on the Prairie episodes. And it's just enough to let me watch about 3/4 of one and bam, I'm out.
Dang.
So that's what
I
happened.
had a habit for a little while there. I take a little evening nap, but I've just been too busy here lately. Hey there, Wayne. How you doing tonight?
So you had an eventful day off today working in the bee yard, right?
Yeah, I finally made it to my 4th bee yard, got all my blocks unloaded, ground leveled up a little bit, and then left there, had to go pick up my 4x4s and start priming and painting them. And I'll probably bring them over there Sunday along with the hive boxes to sell. Go ahead and have everything set up.
Oh, Wayne did his first graph this Sunday. Doing good.
Heck yeah, you're going to have to do a video on that.
Wayne, where are you located, buddy? I'm sure we probably know, but my old man senses are off sometimes. Remember where everybody's at.
We get forgetful in age.
I know, right? Hey, I did go out today to the bee yard and all those queens. Cincinnati, there you go. That's right. Hey, Bobby. And all the queens that I put in the colonies last week, some of them had started laying, some of them hadn't started laying yet, some of them I couldn't find. You know, I was getting a little bit. I think it was a sign because I was looking for my yellow marker and I had my white marker over here and I got my red and my green over there, but I couldn't find my yellow marker. So I was going to go out and try to do some marking today. And you know how I feel about marking. I usually don't because I usually screw it up and decapitate a queen or she flies off or, you know, she looks
just
like
catch them by hand.
Or she looks like a kindergartner finger painted her, you know, something. So I stay away from the queen marking. It's very simple from what they say, but when I kind of got gun shy when I first started and, you know, decapitated that queen and had one fly off. I was like, nah.
But well, the best way I found to learn how to catch a queen by hand and mark them, try catching the drones. Practice with a drone. You ain't worried if you hurt a drone. No,
Well,
I mean,
feel like I could catch her, but with my fingers, you know, I'm not scared to catch her with my fingers, but it's just like some of my colonies I can't even get close to like that without a glove on, you know, at least one or two of them. And they're calming down, but you know, I introduced some queens in them. So they're doing pretty good. I mean, I was surprised. Some of them and I left my flashlight outside. Now that I'm sitting there thinking about the little black flashlight I had last night. So I was looking in the cells, all Inspector Gadget type, looking in there to. You only mark the ones you sell. Okay.
Yeah, I marked mine with yellow paint marker or the yellow marker yesterday or day before. I forget what day it was now. But anyway, when I graft mine, I'm going to put the little numbers on their head and keep a track of them in my computer.
You know, we were kind of talking right before we came on here. Was the I'm looking at my colonies today when I'm going through, and I really think now, if I wouldn't have done some stuff to those other colonies I would have had swarms already. I already know because they were just too much, too early. However, those early splits really set my colonies back. Because I'm looking at the 3 nukes that I had in January that I put in the 10 frame boxes. They're slam packed. I mean, slam packed. I mean, which is good. But then looking at the ones that have already been existing before that, they're a little bit behind those, believe it or not. And it's because I think it's because I was pulling brood and stuff out of those other boxes earlier and just kind of slowed them down. I did here's something interesting, guys. I took the one colony I had that had the screen bottom board on it. When I took the boxes off and I flipped over the screen bottom board. Now I didn't have the corrugated stuff in there or a board, nothing. It was just an old screen bottom board. It was unscreened all winter long. I flipped it over. There was a bunch of wax moss underneath the bottom board. Not larvae, but actual moss. So I'm sitting there, I was crushing the moss under there, threw that off, gave him a new bottom board, solid bottom board, and put them back together. But they're doing okay. I mean, they could really use a little boost of like a frame of brood from another colony in there, just to give them some. But she's got 2 frames fully laid out. So, I mean, she's working, but it's just like they're just not growing like I was hoping they would this time.
They should still have time to catch up a little bit better, though, before the true flow really hits.
Right. Well, I guess May will be the true. And they have drawn out comb. So they're not having to draw the comb out. She's just having to move and, expand with her workforce. And
well, that was my thing last year. It was really I started in 2020 with the one colony, but last year was the first year that I actually started putting supers on. I didn't have none the year before because I got one at the end of the float, the colony itself.
Right.
So all of my supers last year were brand new foundation. They had to draw everything. And I mean, still with the one overwintered colony and then 8 nukes having to draw out from scratch, I still pulled 449, which I don't think was too bad.
I actually cheated today and took a glimpse in my Demaray. I was going through everything. I didn't go all the way down into the brood box, but if you remember the video from this past week, I removed the 2 supers from over the brood chamber, right, and then set the old brood boxes back down on top of the queen excluder. And I did take a little glance, and it did look like more bees had moved down around the queen. They may have nuked her. I don't know. I don't know. I won't know till Wednesday. You guys will see Wednesday when I film the next video. But yeah, they may have, they could have nuked her because the scent was gone. But they were hopelessly queenless, right? They had no queen cells. They had no eggs. They had no brood. Well, a little bit of cap brood, but no way to make a new queen. So chances are when they came down there, she would have been surrounded by 2 to 3 frames of brood and her workers, right? So they should integrate pretty good. We'll see how
I started looking back through some of my videos today on my number one hive, and I believe it was early February. I just kind of took a quick glance in there, and they were pretty loaded in the one deep box and one medium on top. They had a lot of bees in there. Well, then that's when I started working 712s in the past week or so, going out there. I can't find that queen.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to looking at the video, the population of bees at the beginning of February versus middle of March looked like half. So I'm pretty sure now that queen that I wanted to graft off of has swarmed out.
Well, you know the box that I, it's a long story, guys, so bear with me. The hive that I accidentally took the split with the queen that ended up swarming, right? Okay, so that's that part's out of the way. Then it was a double deep that I, with two supers on it that I had split. Each side got a deep with mixed resources and a super and a mated queen. Both of those mated queens are laying now, so they should. That was successful. So, and then I found one colony that evidently I had missed that still had the JZBZ cage on a brood frame that they hadn't taken all the candy out of. After 7 days, they were taking care of her. She was alive. I just popped it open, and she just walked out and went down the frame, good to go, going to work. But she's a little bit, a couple days behind the other queens. So now she's going to have to do her walk around and start laying, right? So
yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, it's just one of those points now to where I just got to kind of let them go. But nobody looks like they're ready to swarm or anything. All right, we put the link in. Nobody's clicked it yet. Let's go. Chop, chop. Somebody jump in.
Come on, jump on there.
Yeah. But
I'm trying to pull up the video that I did yesterday. That way I can show that queen that I found in there. That new queen from one of my splits.
One of the ones that I had looks just like that one today with the tiger stripe.
Mm-hmm.
She's a good looking queen.
Yeah, Ricky had left a comment, said he hadn't seen one striped like that before.
Oh, you talking about this background? This background right here. This is a special limited edition background that you can only find on Google Images.
Free 99.
Free 99, baby. That's how we roll. All you got to do is search honeycomb and on Google, and it'll drop the. Hey, look at here. We got a first timer. I don't see a camera, but I see. Let's see if we can hear audio. Can you hear us, DP?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I
can't. I have a camera. But I'm sitting out in my yard here.
Oh, okay.
Dark outside?
Yeah, it's getting that way.
Where you located?
Well, I'm on an iPad.
He's in East Texas.
Okay.
It's twilight.
It's twilight out there?
East Texas.
What part of East Texas you in?
Right about. Okay, we have a lag. I'm hearing myself.
Okay, so you got to mute. If you got your YouTube open, you'll have to either mute that tab or close the YouTube tab and watch it in StreamYard. And that should fix it.
Okay, I just closed the YouTube tab.
All right, there shouldn't be a lag now then.
What part of East Texas are you in?
Near Lake Livingston.
Okay.
So what you got going
Well, I've
on in
got
your bee yard?
two. Oh, I'm hearing some weird shit. Sorry. I'm hearing some weird stuff in my headphones. And I'm deaf in one ear, so it kind of confuses me.
I got
I've
you.
got, okay. Are we on the same level here?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, good. Sorry about the video,
Oh, no problem.
but I've got 4 hives now. I came through winter. Well, we don't really have winter here. We have summer and not summer.
It sounds
You
like
sound
us.
like me. I'm in South Louisiana. We don't get much of a winter.
Well, I'm 30 and 1/3 degrees north latitude. So, Lee, you're probably about somewhere in the same vicinity.
Yeah.
We got
And I had 2 hives. Well, I had 3 hives going into winter, and I lost one from robin. They died out. And here's the thing. In November, late November, near Thanksgiving, I checked my hives and I found the dead out, and I looked in the other 2 and neither one of them had any brood. And so I tried to combine the 2 hives I had with bees in them, doing a newspaper split or combine. And about 2 weeks later, I came in to the one hive I thought I had left, and I went through the upper box and I found some brood. And then I set it over to the side, and I went in the bottom box and I found some brood. And then I'm looking for the queen. I'm always looking for her. It was my first year. And I see the queen. I see a queen, and all of a sudden, here comes another queen.
you two,
Still
two
had 'em.
queens in one colony.
Well, I had boiled them down to one, but I had 2 different boxes because I just took one box had like 3 frames, and the other one had like 5 frames. So here I am. They're fighting, and so I keep a queen cage in my pocket of my bee suit, and I was able to kind of, I stuck my finger between them, and they broke up, and I got one, and I put her in one nuke box, and then I left the one colony that I had double stacked, and I moved the other. I put her in a 5 frame, and I let all the foragers come back, and basically, she made it through, and I took some bees out of the strong colony because I call it the strong colony and weak colony. And I took some bees out about 6 weeks ago because in the weak colony, they were not enough bees in there to cover any brood. And I saw that uh, she was laying, but then I think they were either eating the brood or something like that. Hillbilly,
Howdy.
howdy.
How you
I
doing?
got peppermints in
You
my
doing all right,
hive.
DP? We do
Hey.
too.
You do too? I'm shocked.
Yeah, sure.
Well, you know, it's funny. I put that video out yesterday, and yes, it was a clickbaity title. I know I'm guilty. However, I got so many comments on that about how it wasn't scientific, and it's the low season for hive beetles, and it's this, and it's that. I'm like, did you guys watch the playlist? Watch the playlist. Watch the first of the playlist that explains what I was trying to accomplish, right? What I was trying to accomplish. That was the main thing. But they only watch the one video, and they don't go back and look at the beginning to see what the whole principle behind it was, you know, with the peppermint pollen patties. And I said I had put peppermint in all of the colonies, and they showed a reduction, which is why I went to putting it in the pollen patty there he is.
I
To
can
try
see now.
to try to show, to see if they could eat more of the pollen sub without getting beetle larvae in it, right? That was the whole thing. So
That
but when
seemed
you
to work.
when you get to the point in the thing and you go through 15 colonies and see 3 hive beetles, it worked. There's no question that it worked. And anybody that's in southern climate, I bet you go into your colonies in Texas, you see hive beetles. I bet you go into them in Louisiana, you see a few hive beetles.
The only ones I seen some in the other day was the one that I didn't put the peppermint in one of my splits.
I killed one today.
I killed one today too in a nuke that I didn't, the new nukes, you know, that I just split and everything, that I didn't put anything in yet. So, but I mean, the amount of shade that gets thrown on you when you put up a YouTube video, and then you click on their, well, let me see what you're talking about on your YouTube channel, and it's 3 weeks old and they've got no content, you know. I'm like, hey, that's fine, but put something out there where you're trying to help people and show them, you know. Am I saying it's a totally 100% scientific study where I was in a lab and had 5,000 hive beetles and 2,000 of the hive beetles got peppermint and 3,000 didn't? And let's see if the 2,000 move over to the 3,000 colony. No, what I'm saying is you can go back to my videos in January and you can look at me doing hive inspections, and on every frame I'm like, there's a hive beetle, there's another hive beetle, there's another hive beetle. There's 5 hive beetles in a colony, and or more, and now I'm going to 3 and 15 colonies. That's pretty irrefutable evidence.
I've even heard that's what's making your bees mean, peppermint.
Peppermint. Hey,
I heard that being said on the show the other
I
night.
will take mean live bees over happy dead bees
That's it.
any day.
Exactly.
And twice on Sunday.
Well, I can tell you that when I had that double deep that only had 3 frames in it, it was infested.
Yep,
with
it's too
hive
much
beetles.
space. Too much space for them to monitor, to corral them and keep them.
Right. Yeah, I've figured that out. I ain't the
best,
sharpest knife in the drawer, but I'm not the dullest either.
it's not a good feeling once you. It's more of a mental thing. Once you've graduated them from 5 up to 10, if you got to take them back to a 5, it's more of us saying, man, this colony's going backwards. But you can stop that by, when the colony gets too small for a 10, just moving them back to a nuke and letting them get back reestablished and, you know, and grow stronger, and then put them back in a 10. And
well, that weak hive that I had, I just put another 5-frame nuke on top of, and it had 4 out of 5 frames because I put what I do, because the hive beetles, is I put a 1 inch wide by 3 inch wide. And like I say, I'm going in my second year.
Right.
Okay. So I put a 1 inch wide by 3 inch long, and I put it on top of where the brood is. And if they eat it, I check it back a week later. And this is before I did peppermint or anything. And there's none in it. There's none. Like I said, I checked all 4 hives and I killed 1 hive beetle.
After putting the peppermint in?
Yes.
That's good.
And on the 5 frame, I only did one in one corner and one in the opposite corner. And then I added the 5 frame on top, and they're already up there and they're building wax. And like I said, 4 out of 5 frames are brood. And I put some pollen patty in there, just a little bit at a time.
Right.
But here in East Texas, really, when I checked around Thanksgiving, they were killing everything, the hive beetles were. And there was no brood.
Yeah, I get that comment.
That's why I thought they were queenless. But neither one of them were queenless.
Well, I have a hypothesis on what happens with hive beetles. And there's no scientific study for you science nerds out there. I don't have it in writing. I'm just telling you what I think happens from my own experience. So, all right. Oh, shit. Hold on. I gotta turn off the virtual background and show my dirty room. All right. So you got the frame. And around the frame, you usually got honey on the outside, right? And then you got the rainbow of pollen in the inside. And then you got the brood inside that, right? So the beetles come from the outside. They get into the nectar and into the pollen. That's where they're at. They lay their larva. Their larva burrow down through, and then they come through the back into the brood. The bees sense there's something wrong with that brood immediately. They eject all of that brood out of that comb. You'll find the dead, especially if you get a slime out, you'll definitely see it, where all of this larva is now laying in the bottom of your colony, or out front if they're very hygienic and it was strong, right? And then when they pull all of that brood out there, I think their tendency is to say, there's got to be something wrong with that queen if all of that brood is dead. And then they kill her. It's that simple. And you go into the colony, there's no queen. The bees are doing whatever, just walking around, or they've absconded and they're gone. And so with the pollen patty or the peppermints, by just I went whole peppermints. I went all out, right? So I put whole peppermints on the corners, each corner of the boxes.
Me too.
And that mean colony I had, the monster colony, I went in it today. It didn't have any red on it anymore. It had melted. but each corner, you can still see there was a candy sitting in each corner of those boxes and not a hive beetle in sight.
Well, you were saying the scientific studies, you got to have everything in black and white and everything, documented.
Well, they're saying,
I see it.
It's in writing right there.
Lee, you got to be a blue collar shop monkey.
I'm a crane operator.
You're a what?
Crane operator.
Oh, okay.
Well, with the experiment with control groups and not control group, here's the thing. If I'm in a bee yard, and you guys have seen my bee yard, the way it's set up. So if I put half with peppermint and half without, what happens to those beetles? They leave this colony and go right to the one next door to it.
Yep.
You know, and am I saying that peppermint is going to wipe out hive beetles? No, because the hive beetles are going to continue to try to get in. So you may see one in there. So
One that ain't learned its lesson yet.
right. So you think, I mean, what you find is most of the comments that I get are from people that either don't get many hive beetles, they get a couple, you know, so it's not an issue. When you start getting 2.5 gallons of a 5-gallon pail full of beetle larvae in your colonies, it's a problem, you know, and I've got video evidence to show that I've had it. So I'm on an all-out war against hive beetles. If Earl would have said, "Hey, all you got to do is piss in your colony," you piss in your colony, and I've probably been outside pissing on my colony. You know, I mean, that's just how it was. You know, just trying to get them under control, keep them manageable, just like hive beetles or like mites. Right? They're like, well, we know we're not going to eradicate the mite at this point, but we want to keep them controlled, keep them down to a level to where the bees can manage them.
I don't want to see sick bees, do you?
No, me neither. So that's the same philosophy I'm taking with hive beetles, is I want to keep them to a level that the bees can control them.
If they're out there rousting up hive beetles, they could be doing something else.
Absolutely.
Well,
All of them.
I ordered the shaker from Texas Bee Supply.
The
yellow
mite check?
cap one.
Yeah, and I did one last year, and I got like 2 or 3.
Well,
But I had a double D, and I left it for 3 weeks, and I think maybe they swarmed, but there were only 3 frames of bees in it, and I didn't find any brood. And then I did the combine, and then I found 2 queens fighting, and that was the first time I'd ever seen a queen. Okay.
and they were fighting.
Well, I saw a queen, and it's like, oh wow, there she is. And then here comes another one running down the frame, right down the frame, and they engaged. And they say mated queens don't fight, but I'm here to tell you, yes, they do.
And you were able to separate them without one of them dying?
I just stuck my finger down like that between them, and they separated. And I keep a queen cage in my bee suit. And I grabbed it, and I grabbed one of them, and I pulled her off, and then I took all the frames that had resources or empty comb, and I made a 5 frame, and I shook some bees off in it.
I would have shook an extra bees into the 5 frame.
Yeah, but I didn't.
Because the reason I would have shook extra in the 5 frame is because you knew all the field force would be returning back to the box, so that would equalize the stronger colony a little bit more.
Yeah, but I was kind of in a panic, you know.
Right. No, I understand.
I screwed up. But how they stayed separated in a top box and a bottom box, I'd gone through the top box, and I guess I shook her off, you know, made her go run and hide. But there at that point in time, there was brood in the top box. It was like an orange size, about the size of an orange. And it was on this side of one frame and the other side of the frame next to it. And so I pulled it off and I went down, and there was about the same size in the same place. And it's right there that I found it, the two of them.
I'm surprised.
So, when I saw no brood, I panicked and I'm like, I don't have a queen, and they must have swarmed, and they probably did.
Hey, let me address this question here. All right. Hey, Bob, I'm really interested in trying the Demaray split this year too. Let me know if I'm seeing it wrong, but you think you timed it a bit early. Doesn't seem like many bees in the hive yet. Okay. No. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the video you're seeing is actually, I had started a Demaray, and the reason I did the Demaray was because they were backfilling the brood box with pollen and honey to where she literally had about that much room. I had cap brood, that much cap brood, and around that was pollen, and around that was honey. She had no room to lay. Now, what you're seeing in the video is the result of me having done a Demaray, and then that I couldn't video. I actually videoed, but the footage didn't take. So I redid it. But the part that you didn't see was the first time I did the Demaray, all of the queen cells and brood that were up top, I took to make splits. So it did set them back. And then I redid the Demaray specifically for YouTube purposes at that point, because she had the bottom box already laid out. So yes, I'll say yes and no. What you're seeing, yes, it looks light, but no, when I originally did it, there was lots of bees and I spread them out, right? So, and then I pulled the resources that would have been hatching over this period. I had already pulled those and utilized the queens and cut them out to put them in splits to try to requeen colonies that didn't have queens. So the true method is what they say to do is you take that original brood box, take it off to the side, you put a new brood box on the bottom that's empty, totally empty, like I did in the video. You put one frame of brood and the queen on that one frame, queen excluder, and then 2 honey supers, and then that original box of brood at top. And then every week you come back and make sure there's no queen cells, and you smash the queen cells. I didn't do it exactly like that. I used those queen cells and brood, which would have been hatching, to repopulate the box. So I basically, instead of letting it just be a split on top, is I made multiple strengthening moves, right? Taking queen cells and putting it in this colony over here, taking the cap brood and putting it in this colony over there to try to equalize. And the main thing for me was to keep that box, the brood box, where she could keep laying and basically get it restructured the way it needed to be restructured, letting the bees do the work. So, yeah, I don't know where you're located, but here most days we're getting in the 60s and 70s, and this week it's going to be all in the 80s. Except for tonight, for some reason, it's supposed to get cold. But other than that, it's been pretty good. And I checked in that colony today, because in the last video, I took those 2 brood boxes out from in between and moved the top. Now it's just the new brood box, queen excluder, and then the 2 brood boxes that were on top before. So those bees have started to move down to where she's at to help her out in the bottom now. So, I mean, I understand what you're looking at, but if you've got a strong colony, you could do it very easily. And that was a strong colony. If you look at some of my earlier videos, you'll see mine were pretty slammed with bees, but I did make some mistakes. I'm not perfect. I'm not an expert beekeeper. I'm not a certified master beekeeper. You know, I don't have those credentials behind my name, but whatever that is. I mean, do you like to sign that? Like when you write somebody a letter, do you say, "Dear certified master beekeeper so-and-so, I have a question for you." You know, and matter of fact, I learned something interesting. Dr. Leo, he is a doctor. He's a doctor of forestry. He's not a doctor of beekeeping. So, you know, a lot of times you get these doctor so-and-so, beekeeper this, beekeeper that, but their degree is not in that field. They just happen to be a doctor, PhD, right? So,
Not
I
like
found
an
my phone,
entomologist.
so I have some light. It is dark here now. So yeah, Leo, $50 a pound. Yeah, I'll sell mine to you for that.
Oh
What-
yeah, all day long.
what happened? I didn't hear. I heard you cut out a little bit.
Leo's honey's
Oh, I'm
$50
sorry.
a pound.
$50 a pound?
Dang.
That's what Leo says. Yeah.
Well, I'll sell him all mine for $25 a pound, and then he can make $25 a pound, and I'll make $25 a pound.
That's exactly what Cayman Reynolds said
I think we all going to send a truckload up there.
last week on one of his live. Well, maybe it was 2 weeks ago. You know, those things will kill you.
Yeah, I know. Well, so will getting hit by a
Yeah,
truck
so do I.
to me tomorrow. You know,
Yeah.
I tell you what.
Well, I'll leave you with the words of my great grandfather who said, "A truck."
A truck. I'll tell you what. I've heard that my whole life. I've been smoking since I was an embryo, right? In the 70s. You remember the roll up windows, and my dad would be smoking and wouldn't let us roll down the back windows. He'd be smoking.
There's a reason for that.
All the windows would be rolled up in the car, and he'd be just smoking. I've got a picture of my mom. This is before, you know, I'm 6'2.5", 6'3". At my highest weight, I was 400 pounds, and they always say, well, smoking will stunt your growth, right? If your mom smokes when she's pregnant, it'll stunt your growth. I've got pictures of her with a glass of whiskey and a cigarette in her hand, pregnant with me, you know, and I'm like, yeah, that didn't work out like they planned.
No, it didn't.
I bought this at Lee's behest. Lee's like, hey, you know, Amazon sells honey signs. So I put one of these. It came in a 2-pack. I put it in my yard yesterday. Now I got people pulling in my yard just honking the horn, and I got to run down to the road to sell them honey. They're just pulling in. You got honey?
So when are you getting that little sliding window for your honey house?
I know. I need to get a sliding window and a car hop.
You got to get the drive-through window
There
and the
you
little
go.
ring doorbell.
But
Like
yeah,
the 50s.
that's a pretty good thing.
Hey, DP, if you don't mind
Sorry
me
about
asking,
the
what's your
gray
real
hair
name?
there.
Oh, you see, I got it.
DP.
What?
Hey, if you don't mind me asking, what's your real name?
Dave?
Dave?
Yeah.
Okay. You mind if I
That's what
put a
my
link
dad
to your
called me.
channel? You mind if I put a link to your channel in the comments? Everybody go check you out.
Yeah, that's fine. I think I have 3, maybe 4 videos.
Hey, we all start somewhere.
Look at this.
Well, one of them has. I started last year, and one of the videos is of my orange 8N.
Your 8N tractor. I've seen that.
Yeah,
Imagine how
and I
big you would have
painted it
got if
orange,
you
and
put in a
people
smoker.
people told me, said, "How'd you paint it orange?" I said, "Because it's mine, and I can paint it whatever color I want."
There you go. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Well,
You know, the thing I have with my strong hive, the one that made it through, I put a top box on it 2 weeks ago, and they keep building queen cups in it, and it's got like 5 frames of brood in it now.
But
And
but
I'm
are they
wondering if I
charged?
should split it. Huh?
Are they charged? I mean, do they
No.
have something in them? Just crush them. Just crush
Nope.
them off.
I checked it today. Hey, Hillbilly, welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah, it seems like sometimes they'll just build themselves for practice. They don't
Yeah.
always
That
use them.
seems like it, but I'm thinking I can make a split off of one of them.
Well, if you got 5 frames of cat brood, you're looking at about 10 frames of bees, 10 to 15 frames of bees
I'd
that are
about
going
to
to
say
be
at least
Yeah.
10.
Well, I got
I'd
5
say
frames
about-
of brood in the top.
Yeah, I'd say about 2.5 frames of bees for every frame of brood.
You got any in the bottom box or just in the top?
7. I checked it today.
7 in the bottom and 5 in the top?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that'd be a split for me.
Yep.
It's blowing up, man.
That or time to
But
throw
I'm not
supers
sure.
on.
Huh?
If you have a nectar flow about to start, I'd start throwing some supers on. That way, when they hatch out, they start working. If not, I would do a split myself.
I found that I can knock on wood. I'm saying this, I could come out tomorrow. They could all be swarmed in the trees, but it seems like if you give them more work, and they have something to do, the less they're thinking about swarming.
Yep.
As long as they got something to do and they've got room to keep going, they'll keep going. But, evidence, if you watched Mr. Ed's and Mike Berry's video not too long, they had an 8-foot beehive inside of the wall. And, I mean, they just kept drawing and drawing and drawing comb. I mean, they were big, huge slabs of comb too. They weren't just these little ones. They were giant.
I had to do a cutout in North Louisiana earlier this year, or was it this year? No, last year. And it was an older house, so it was the wall studs are on 24-inch centers. It was 6 studs long, the hive, so it was a little over 12 foot.
Wow.
Lee, do you have a big market for cut comb where you're at? I saw a comment about
I'm usually always
spring.
having people ask me. I done one full medium super box of cut comb last year, and it sold quick. And I
Really?
still had people asking for it. So I think I'm going to do 2 or 3 boxes this year.
Well, I got, my first buckets of honey. I didn't have anybody interested in buying the ones that had the comb in it. Now it seems like every other person. You got any with comb in it? And it's like,
That's how it goes.
but I'm not a big fan of cutting down their work. You know what I mean? It takes a lot of resources for them to draw the comb. So I'm not a huge.
It ain't too bad. I buy the thin cut comb foundation from Better Bee. It just slides in and it's food grade edible. So they build off of that. I mean, super fast. They can pretty much have the box drawn out in about a week.
And they're shallows too, ain't they?
No, that's a regular medium.
Was it a medium?
But I think you can buy that in deep
Hello?
as well.
I believe they have it. I know they got the shallow and the medium.
So,
But to me, with my jars, with that medium, is the perfect size comb to fit in my jar.
just a 2 ounce, the little 2-inch strip.
And everybody down here for that size, I do $9 for the 1 pound jar. If it got the comb in it, it's $11. It's $2 difference for the comb. And I mean, they sell
Well, you're
pretty good.
generous.
You're a little cheap
generous
though.
down there.
Yeah, a lot of people will charge more than that.
Well, I was pretty generous on the last one I did. They were, I had the only one I had cut comb in is I had a frame that blew out when I was extracting. So instead of wasting it, I just cut it and put it in the jar and then filled it up with honey.
Yep.
And ended up being like quart jars. I should have just took pint jars and put a couple pieces in each one of them and did it that way. But
Hey, Ricky, how you
I
doing?
got a
tonight?
case of pint mason jars in the back of my car. I just bought at Walmart today.
now
Yep.
I get $15 for mine.
Ooh.
So it's a pound and a half of honey. We get $10 a pound here. So
Well, I just bought an extractor from. I'm getting an echo. I just bought an extractor from a Chinese place. It was like $170. It's a
Hand
3-frame. Yep.
I bought a Chinese one that was right at $300, and it's powered. It was 8 mediums or 4 deeps, and I realized real quick it took me a long time to spin my honey out with that.
$10 a pound. That's last year's prices.
That's last year's prices.
Yeah, $10 a pound. That's last year's prices. Where are these people?
Fuel went up, everything goes up, huh?
Yeah, it's
well,
15 this
you
year.
know.
Everything else went up. You got to go up with it. If you want some out of a flow hive, it's 20.
That's what I was thinking. Everybody at the farmers market said, are you going up on prices because of gas? I said, I'm only 3 miles from the market. It's not really costing me nothing. But then I got
You're
to
just a good
thinking,
dude.
I'm getting charged more for delivery on all my stuff because of fuel prices.
Well, that's what people, when they come up and they want to take a look around, and I started showing them, like we had some people, like I told y'all, I had some people that saw us on live that were 5 miles from me that came over, and that's when we went through the 15 colonies, and I showed them the new equipment and everything. People don't understand that there's $2,500 worth of boxes sitting on those stands behind all my colonies that aren't even being used yet, right? And $4,000 worth of extracting equipment. So you got to sell a ton of honey to.
Hey, Hillbilly, you got another window open? The echo's on your channel.
No.
I don't hear it now.
You sure it's on my channel?
I do.
Yeah, whenever I mute your audio, it would stop.
That don't make no sense. All I got open is StreamYard.
You're on your phone now, right?
The phone's on, but it's muted. You can't hear that phone.
No, but if you're on the StreamYard on the phone, because I'm showing it's turned sideways, you got the stop, play, and record button on the side, that it might be coming through whatever else you're watching the stream on. Could be.
I can see the buttons over on the left-hand side.
Yeah, it says home button, apps, and back.
Yeah, it looks like you're on your phone right now, streaming in.
See if I
Don't
mute
feel
his
bad.
channel, the loop stops.
But
Don't feel bad. I'm technologically retarded myself.
is the
Yeah, I do QMS audits on. Let me try to get this going the right way.
so M&J Habitat sells theirs for $1 an ounce. So that's $16 a pound, right?
I told you $15 a jar. When y'all gonna listen to me?
But when I go out there with one of these 1 pound jars, so I got 3 sizes: $5, $10,
$15,
and $15. That's it.
$20.
And then
I've
once
seen that different.
you seen it different, you
Yeah.
would have been 10, 15. Well, the thing is that the prices on the bottles are going up too, right?
There's nobody's
I
gonna
noticed.
doubt you 1 minute.
I ordered 10 more cases yesterday, and they went up like $2 a case extra. I used to get
If
my case for
anybody would
$8.95.
argue
Now
it-
they're $10.95.
Hey, LaGrange, I
Think
just
it
got
would be
that 30
short-lived.
frame. I just bought that 30 frame. Now I got with the 30 frame. Well, how much did I pay for that thing? $1,900.
I think that's what it was.
29,
Somewhere around
I don't
there.
know, 19 something. But I spent $3,900 with that, the uncapping tank, the uncapper, and hey, I'm Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to highlight, that one. What I will say, it's worked for me. Everybody's geographic location and situation is going to be different, but it worked for me. Even like I said in the video yesterday, it's not going to stop the hive beetles from trying to get in. They're going to try to get in. You may see one hive beetle or two hive beetles, but I went through 15 colonies. 15 colonies and saw 3 hive beetles.
I've had them land on my car.
Hive beetles landed on your car?
Yeah, my car is about 35 feet from the hives, and I've had a hive beetle land on my windshield when I parked my car.
I'm gonna see if I can find this video.
Oh man, that thing's sick to the heart. It's hard to look at those slime outs.
I installed 2 packages 2 weeks ago yesterday, and I put the peppermint in when I installed them, and I don't find hive beetles in there. Of course, I only put 2 frames of drawn comb in, and they were kind of nasty, I'll tell you, because they came from a dead out.
That's what's up, Ricky.
And nothing.
Whoop, that's supposed to be muted. Hold on, sorry. If you heard that. I've got 2 videos. One is called The Game of Drones When Hive Beetle Attack. And one is called Disaster Avoided, Apiary Updates, Hive Beetles Defeated. Yeah, I thought they were. I mean, let me see. No, don't watch the second one. The second one sucks. It's just me talking. The other one to watch is The Game of Drones When Hive Beetles Attack.
The 5-gallon bucket one.
Yep. 5-gallon bucket. And where's it at? Here it is. How long is this video? It's a long video too. Well, not long. It's 23 minutes. And believe it or not, it's only got 95 views. It was put out July 3rd, 2020. And until you go through this scenario, let me see. Let me pause this video. Let me see if I can share my screen just to show you real quick what I'm talking about. Share screen. There's too many share screen buttons you got to hit. Chrome tab. There you go. Share. Will you punch that in for me, Lee? And I'll start it.
That's pretty gross. The other one was just as bad.
Full screen, probably.
I'm gonna take it and set it out in the sun.
Hold on. We'll back it up. I'm backing up.
Which you can see up there.
I don't know how far
it
is.
No tree
I don't
cover.
have no sound going, do I?
It's in the
I don't want it to
direct
feedback
sunlight.
through. So you can see my yard has increased since this point, right?
See, I've got a 10 frame.
It's changed. All right. So there's a Swiffer. You see all the hive beetles on that. That's more beetles than I found in all my colonies
this
yesterday.
was the same hive the next day. The second one. Lots of beetles. And that's just the one hive. The 5 hives that I lost were that bucket is the slime that
scraping off all the
where I scraped this slime and put a glass on top to hopefully melt some of that down.
All the
and at least kill all the.
Trying to fast forward it where
they
that was a
are
2
really
gallon
going to
bucket
town on
feeder head out there. Trying to get to the actual bucket part.
That just happened to.
So you guys watching me talk the whole time. Where's it at? All right.
Find a queen on the
so
ground.
there's all the brood that I was talking
anything,
about was in the bottom of the
they appeared to
colonies.
Here at the University of South Carolina,
well,
it's all about the
University of
week.
South Carolina.
Because when you stand
skip
taking
that.
it.
Back in school.
So,
Let me see.
South
July
Carolina,
and
troublemaker.
August, that's usually hive beetle time, and I'm like, my
Hey, when I
hit
was in the Navy,
June,
I actually swapped boxer shorts
well, it
with
must
a
have been
girl
early
from the
June
University
because
of
by the
Kentucky
end of June,
on spring
my
break.
hives, I was losing
That
hives.
was exciting.
So hopefully I did.
So
They're getting weaker.
I'm doing all right, here we go.
Slime or anything, I'd take it out and
Slime out
leave the
comb.
bees with just what they have, and then they have to, regroup. So
Trying to keep it off.
definitely increased at that. But all
Come
these
on, where's the
yesterday they
bucket
were all
already?
hanging there and getting drips and drops, and bees
It's up here
feel like
somewhere.
they're,
Tried a little
but
bit of everything,
everybody,
but,
so everybody
it
else's
must
did,
be
I guess.
closer to the end.
Line.
I
think
had all my
looking
colonies on the
back,
back here.
A lot of people
here we
say
go.
they can do it and don't have any problems.
I had them
was
all
not the
lined up
case
against the back of the
for me.
property, and I moved them over to the
So,
side of the house.
to give you an
because of the
idea-
beetles and by the woods.
Let me set this out over here. They'll come and get it easier
Come on,
now.
show the bucket already.
I'm going to show you how gross this is.
Jeez, how can
All right,
I watch
so
my own videos?
Obviously, everybody sees. I just took 2
All
frames
right,
out
sorry guys, this is like
Two
way too
frames.
long.
that I had in the
Right there. There you go.
I'm going to try not to get, but that's all larva that's been growing
Just
and feeding. They can't climb the sides of the bucket,
beetle larvae everywhere.
but those beetles can. You see
And
the
that's
beetles?
out of the slime out, right? So
But they can't burrow down through the ground.
I don't know too many northern
So I'm probably
beekeepers
gonna,
have experienced
um,
this, and I could be wrong. I just haven't seen any YouTube evidence of it.
That's pretty gross.
And
The other one was just as bad.
that's
I'm gonna take them and set it out in the sun.
that wiped out.
Hopefully the sun cooks
Well, I
them,
went from
because the other hive.
15 down to 4. So I guess that's actually 11. I don't know why I keep always saying 9, but yeah. So we definitely have and bees do get caught in the Swiffer sheets, and I'm not saying they don't catch beetles.
What happened?
They do catch beetles. However, they only catch some of the beetles. There's still a bunch of beetles walking around in there. And then what you get is the bees will actually propolize the whole edge of the Swiffer sheet down.
You're breaking up.
I'm breaking up. No, but the
Now you froze.
I think
He's
it's
got a
you.
lag.
I got a lag.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, so anyway, they do. Yeah. See, you're in Michigan, 5 beetles in 4 years. I wouldn't even worry about it. I would just smash them with my hive tool and be done with them. If you see 5 beetles.
Amen.
But when you open up a colony and it's got 100 hive beetles in it, or, and people are making the argument, yeah, well, it's this time of year and, it's a slower season for hive beetles. I said, well, I actually answered the person. I said, well, how many did you have in December, January, and February? Because I had them in all those months. And he was in Florida. So, again, as you guys see, I have woods all the way around me. Earl's got woods all the way around him.
I
If
do
you're-
Duck farmer's got it all around him and a pond,
Yeah.
though.
And that makes a huge difference. I mean, if you're in Florida, which is primarily flat, and you've got some palm trees and veg around you, you probably do get some hive beetles, but it might be just a different. Maybe they like the trees more. I don't know.
I
All
used
I
to
know
get
is
them. I don't get them no more.
But
Well, a lot of it I think has to do with weather.
the weather, yeah, and it's been rainy here right now, which softens the ground up, which makes it easier for the beetles to get in. So, which was one of the reason why I went with the the landscaping fabric in between the colonies, right? So if larva comes out, they can't get into the soil. So I'm trying to break that their brood cycle. I don't know if it's called brood cycle, whatever it is. Their regeneration, their ability to procreate, so to speak. If they do get out of a colony that they can't breed and grow into beetles and come back. So trying to
But
break that up.
Tom Seeley says that they can fly 30 miles.
So, and again, this year might be very tricky because about a half mile up the road, they've clear cut woods all the way around to make a subdivision. So I've noticed rats that have come out of the woods over this way. I've noticed,
Rabbits,
everything.
coons, possums.
Yep. You see them, deer, everything on the road, and everything in between.
Two squirrels and one porcupine.
Yeah.
I grew up in Houston, so
Yeah,
there were places where when I was a kid, about 8 miles south, I used to. This is kind of dangerous. What I used to do is there was a highway there outside of my neighborhood, and what I would do is I'd take fishing line and I would hook it to the yoke on my bicycle in the front, and I'd catch an 18-wheeler that was going south,
And get pulled
and there was a whole bunch of cow pasture down there, and I would go down there and I had my rifle strapped on my back, and I'd go down there and hunt rabbits and stuff. When I got where I was going, where I wanted to get off, I'd just take my pocket knife out. Yeah, I know. I could hear all the politically correct people talking, and just cut the fishing line, and then I could coast to a stop and go do my hunting.
Yeah.
And then I'd go back north up 288,
Well, we used to do.
And things were different back then.
Oh yeah, I remember laying up in the back glass of the car on a long road trip, or in the floorboard, or seatbelt. What was that? We didn't have to wear no seatbelt.
Bob, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. You're chopping up a
Bob's
little bit.
frozen.
You're chopping up a little bit.
Yeah, Dave, you're freezing up some. I think you froze.
Yeah, Jeff, I would. Yeah, there he goes. He lost signal. So yeah, Jeff, I'm gonna tell you, it's amazing how we'll go and we'll buy $9 Guardian entrances or $20 Beetle bottom shims to go under something, but when somebody says you can put a 5-cent piece of candy in it in the bottom or in your boxes, then everybody's skeptical. Yeah.
I ain't making no money off of it.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not like
I didn't invent it.
all I'm saying is, if you're skeptical, go down to your dollar store and buy you a bag of the peppermint candies and put one in the corner of each box. Don't even listen to me. Do your own experiment. Just put them in there. And first of all, here's the first thing. When I did the experiment, when I was putting the patties on, before I put a peppermint patty on, I had to see there was hive beetles in the colony. I wouldn't even put it if I didn't see a hive beetle in the colony. So I had to see it first and then put it on there. So definitely give it a shot. I mean, what are you out? $2 if you from the dollar store, $1 from the dollar store?
I bought mine at Walmart. I'm a high class redneck.
You're an uptown boy.
Amazon, you get a 5-pound bag for $16.
$60?
16. 1-6.
Yeah.
I
My
think I
son will eat them all. He loves peppermint.
Mine came from
I'm always eating.
Walgreens. And you can buy them anywhere. You don't have to order them from a bee supply store.
No.
Just go to your Dollar Tree, your Dollar General.
You're bypassing too many middlemen now. You're taking people's money out of their pockets.
Any grocery
I
store.
think that might be part of the resistance to this.
Yeah, that pisses them off a little bit when they ain't making that money that they could have been making off you having some beetle problems.
Hey,
Well,
Won't go spend
it's
a
like
dollar
the
somewhere
pharmaceutical
else.
companies.
well, we ain't gonna lie to you. Me and Hillbilly Earl have been talking about we're gonna start making our own our peppermint pollen patties. We're gonna put them on the market, so y'all can just order them from us.
Yeah, just order them and they'll come right to your door. No work.
I mean,
Some people don't want to do it.
you know, with the Guardian, the Guardians, I bought 10 of the regular ones, and I think I bought 10 or 15 of the upper entrances, which now on a couple of my nukes that I took the disc off and used them in place of it. And I can tell you, I've got hives that had the Guardian entrance and still had hive beetles. That's what
I had the Guardian upper entrance, and my bees didn't even use it to fly in and out. They'd have a few guard bees sitting at it to keep anything from coming in, but they didn't use it themselves.
Well, they don't have no choice but to use it on mine because it's their only entrance in and out on that one box. So.
But the other thing I do as far as the entrance reducer on the front of my hive, you know how you can flip it to the small side or the big side? Mm-hmm. That's all I use is either the small or the big. I don't remove the whole entrance, so they don't have as much to
guard. Am I the only one that buys those entrance reducers and notices that they don't always fit the bottom boards that you put them in?
So far, all of mine has would better be. Now, the one I got from Daydan, it didn't fit the best, but I trimmed it down and worked.
And then the 5-frame, like if you're using it on a nuke, I haven't been able to find like a entrance reducer for that mostly, other than cutting down a big one. You know, I've done that, but you know, I'm not telling y'all what to do with your bees. I'm not.
No.
I'm just telling you.
I bought
what worked.
I bought those, and I put them on the 2 hives I had left alive, and the hive beetles don't get in through the entrance, from what I can see. They get in through the gaps in the other side, you know, because bee boxes, they're not. I'm a machinist by trade. And I'm telling you, we need some tighter tolerances, because the front and the back don't match with the sides necessarily.
And then who you buy your boxes from, you could buy them from one person and they'll be a little bit off from the other person. And then over time, they'll warp and twist a little bit. I've actually taken some of my older boxes and put them on the table saw and trimmed them to make them level again.
I wish I had one of those. What I did was I got on Walmart.com, and there were some boxes there, and basically they were cheaper than you couldn't buy the lumber to build them. But the thing is that the deep boxes, they had messed up and gotten about a 1/16 of an inch off on the dovetail.
Right.
And so you take a wood chisel and you fix it and you put them together. Right. And you end up with that discrepancy, and that's where I ended up with hive beetles in November. So my test on the peppermint thing is going to be November. End of November, right around Thanksgiving. That about where you get yours, Lee?
Usually anywhere between September and November is when I noticed some being around, but I really didn't have a whole lot last year, surprisingly. Because, I mean, we don't have nothing but woods around. Well, all 4 of my yards, I got nothing but woods. We got high humidity down here. So I figured they would be worse.
Well,
95%.
Yep.
It fluctuates, you know. My thought was the same that I try to treat my mites with, right? Is I try to keep them low as I can all year. So when it booms up, maybe my bees can handle them better. Let me see.
I hadn't had a problem with mites.
I actually, one of my nukes, I opened up and actually visibly saw a mite on a bee today. And obviously they're not going to be my nukes aren't going to be honey producers, but they just got new queens. So I don't want to go in there and OA them right now with brand new queens in there, you know, and then have them say, "Oh, she did it," and try to do something to her. So Well,
Well, there you go. There you go. Yeah, I put Apivar strips in about the second week of January on the 2 hives I had. But I've never seen any mites, and I didn't have enough bees to do a test on them.
Well,
but I did a test on them near the end of the year before I had the one get robbed out and die like in a week. And the other 2, I did it on them, and I'll tell you, I got 3 on one, and I think maybe 5 on the other.
well, I don't do a mite shake, and I know there's a lot of people that'll say, "Well, how do you know if it's doing any good?" Well, I guess you don't. You know what I mean? You don't. I mean, from that aspect, but I know that I got. They say it's about 300 bee sample, right?
Right.
So you do 300 bees, you shake, you kill them, you see how many mites you have. Then you vaporize them. Then you go back and do another mite shake of another 300 to see if it reduced them. So why don't I just assume they have mites and treat them? And then either way, it's the same thing, right? You're if it reduces them, it reduces them.
You might get
That's
a
what
low
I
mite
do.
count and not have to do it. A 0
That's what
or
I
a
do
1.
though. I just proactively treat. Now last year I did do one mite wash just to see, and I found 1 in the hive out of 300.
He said,
Yeah,
I don't
That's
want none.
about right. It seems like they're more prolific where you have winter.
Yeah, when the bees are
Now, where I live, winter. We have summer and not summer. And sometimes we get freezes. And once every 5 to 7 years, we get a period of time where it stays below freezing for more than 48 hours. And once every 20 years, we get a period of time where it stays below freezing for 5 days.
And you just barely north of Houston, huh?
Yeah, 60 miles north of Houston, and I grew up in Houston. And I can remember in 1974, it snowed 3 times. It snowed in January, February, and in March.
Hmm.
And when it snowed in January, it was about 6 inches, and it shut the city down. Because nobody has snow tires, and nobody knows how to drive on the mud or on the snow down there. It's all concrete.
Yep.
And all the bridges
I know they
turned
get a
ice.
heavy rain. They shut down 225 there in Houston. I used to stay.
What about 225?
If it rains real hard, they used to want to shut 225 down all the time.
Well, that's because it floods.
Yep.
Well, it doesn't. It's not that it floods. It's that when it rains, you get these huge pockets because it's all built on gumbo mud. You might know about gumbo mud.
Yep.
Right? And so you got these low spots. And so somebody hits one of those low spots and they hydroplane, and you have a 5 or 10 or 15 car pileup.
Yeah. I used to stay right there in LaPorte for about 9 months doing some work in the plants.
I'm sorry.
It wasn't too bad.
I used to have a trailer off Telephone Road back in the late 80s.
Okay.
Yeah,
Late
I'm telling
80s.
my age, ain't I?
How old are you?
I'll be 57 in July.
I wouldn't have thought that you was 57. I'm 52, so you got me by a few.
No, y'all got me by a few. I'll be
I
44
was
this
born
year.
in 65.
Earl ain't but 23. See what the hills will do to you?
That's right.
Hey, Earl. Earl, man, I'm going to tell you something. Time goes by faster the older you get.
I'm 49.
And after you get past 50, it goes into overdrive.
Oh yeah.
I'm just about to hit it. Next year I'll be 50.
Yeah, I know. I got a son turns 15 here in a little bit.
My youngest,
Canada.
he'll be 18.
Oh, I've been to Canada.
I have a cousin that lives in on Rice Lake in Roseneath, and I've been up there, and we used to drive out on the lake, drive in our cars out on the lake to their fishing shack, and you know,
And
we
build a
had set up-
fire inside.
yeah, I mean, where you can literally drive out on the lake and not worry about your car falling through.
How about they drive out on the lake and then drill a hole in the ice right next to it, huh?
Well, we actually just ended up drinking beer and shooting guns and did a fish fry out on the.
Well, my first ex-wife was from Detroit, so I used to have a T-shirt that said "I vacation in Detroit."
Hold on.
And the first time I ever saw ice on pavement that was dry was when I went up to Detroit in like December, because we had to go to a funeral. But I've traveled to Canada.
Lee knows.
I traveled to Canada in the middle of July, and I touched down in Edmonton Airport at like 12:15 a.m. and it was 30 degrees Fahrenheit there in the middle of July, and the sun hadn't been down for 2 hours yet.
And it was freezing.
10:45.
I can't do the cold weather very much.
That's
It's something.
Canada.
I have a bad back, so if I get that first little chill, my back tightens up, and the more it tightens, the more I shiver. The more I shiver, the more I hurt.
Well, I'll tell you, they can keep Canada. I've been to both coasts. I've been to Montreal, and I'll tell you what, Montreal traffic is worse than Houston by a long shot. It took me 3 hours to go 5 miles on a regular day in Montreal
I'll tell you the worst
just to
traffic.
get out of town.
The worst I've ever seen is Chicago at 3 a.m. 3 a.m. It was bumper to bumper traffic. I'm like, what in the hell is going on here?
I'll never drive through Denver, Colorado at rush hour in the evening again either.
I did that before too. I was over-road trucker for a little while, and I left Green Bay, Wisconsin. I was like, well, I'll leave Green Bay at about midnight, and that way I'll hit Chicago in the middle of the night, and I'll be able to just breeze through there. Bullshit. That ain't happening. That ain't happening.
I did a job up in Nebraska in 2018 on the east side of Nebraska. It was a 1,200-mile drive up there, but it was 3,800 miles coming home. I decided I was going to take some more time. Also, I took a little tour doing my landscape photography, and I come down through Denver. I'll go 4 hours around that place next time if I have to.
I actually picked up a load of Jolly Ranchers. They make Jolly Ranchers in Denver. A load of Jolly Rancher cans brought down. Also exorbitant.
Mosquitoes.
That's our state bird here in South Carolina, mosquito.
Oh, you hadn't been to Southeast Texas yet.
And then we got
I guarantee you.
They call them mosquito hawks. They look like bigger mosquitoes, but they actually eat mosquitoes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We call them galley nippers.
Galley nippers?
Galley nippers, yeah.
But
that sounds like some of them names
you
up there
don't
where
kill-
Not explain them cowboy words.
Well, galley nippers, you don't kill galley nippers. They eat mosquitoes. I don't know where it comes from, but that's what Mom and Dad and Grandma and Granddad
I'll
said.
tell you something, that something gonna land on me while I'm sleeping. He's getting killed.
hey, one thing that I don't see as much as we used to see when I was a kid, fireflies.
Mm-mm.
Oh, we
Or
got
like-
him good here.
I can see them now.
See them anymore.
You can see
I
them
see them now. I'm looking at them.
Yeah, I don't see them that much anymore. down here.
They look like cockroaches.
Yeah, with
When they start
light-
flying around here,
They
man,
look
looks
like the German
mountain.
cockroaches, only they're black
Something
and they have little orange around them.
but we don't see them too much down here. I don't know if it's. We used to see them all the time. We don't see them that much anymore.
Well, turn out the lights and start a fire and get the sparks flying up, and you'll see them answering you.
Oh, they'll come in.
You'll see them out in the distance answering the sparks.
Oh, I'll have to try that. But yeah, there's a lot of things, I got cats behind me thinking they're gonna claw
I know
something up.
lightning bugs eat snails.
Well, we got them. I got lizards for sure. I wish I had more snakes around because after cleaning that porch off with them rats, they would not be here.
Hey, get you some red-tailed boas and put out there.
And that could be because of the chickens. So I don't know.
Oh no!
Chickens run the snakes off.
When
they
you watch
run
Tori
the
them fight them snakes down
We
south
don't
in
do
Florida,
snakes here.
You got what? Y'all got all kinds of snakes in Texas. We just got like black
Yeah.
snakes around here, a lot of them. Used to. I haven't
Oh,
seen
we got
them.
copperheads. We got copperheads. We don't have the boas. We don't have the invasive, but not where I'm at.
we got
Garter
copperheads and
snake.
rattlesnake.
Copperheads, rattlesnakes. Y'all probably got rat snakes up there too, right?
Rat snakes,
Mostly
horned snakes.
copperheads, water moccasins. Near the river where I'm at. Well, the lake, but I'm where the river was. And garter snakes, the green striped garter
Yeah.
snakes.
I used to catch
They're
those as a
everywhere. I
kid.
found one under my washing machine last week.
You got a rattle?
What you got there, hillbilly?
A rattle. That's a big rattle.
About
Oh,
11
yeah.
buttons.
Well, I'm in the piney woods,
Yeah, 11.
and I got gumbo mud where I live. So
Yeah, Thomas, we're starting to get a little bit coming in. I noticed
Keep it in my guitar.
some of my colonies have already started stacking it away pretty good. Actually, the Demaray, or not the Demaray, another one of my colonies was a double deep, and they were stacking and capping it in the top deep. I actually undersupered it with a medium today. Lifted up the deep and put a medium under it and put the deep on top of it again. So we are seeing a little bit. It hadn't started full-fledged yet, but in the next couple of weeks, it'll be hitting pretty good, I think.
Yeah. We getting a good bit of just regular white clover right now, but the privet trees, they full green out right now, and you can start seeing buds, but nothing blooming yet.
I'm seeing flowers on my like the wild berries, and
Yep.
we got
It snowed here today. It's 36 degrees.
holy
Ooh.
crap, and we had dandelions popping up and blooming, and bunch of stuff. But with that being said, the temperature tonight is supposed to get down to 30. Well, it says Saturday is only supposed to be a high of 58 and a low of 37, which we haven't seen the 30s in weeks. And now we're going to crack back into the 30s. It might only be for an hour or so.
Dogwood winters for about 2 days or 3, and then it'll come back.
Well, it's funny because Saturday is saying 58 and then Sunday 72. And then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday and Thursday are all in the 80s. And then it's
Yep.
the 70s after that again. So,
yeah, it's supposed to get down to 46 here.
Just about time to
And
cut the
up
tape
to
off.
84 tomorrow.
so you're getting
What's
ready
that?
up there. Earl, though, you should be, is this like I know you've talked about your 3 different winters you have. Is this the last of the 3?
No, this is the second one, dogwood winter.
And then what's the
Dogwoods will
next one?
bloom next. As soon as it gets warm, dogwoods will bloom, and then that's when I'll start getting worried because there'll be a cherry flow on, and I've seen some. I actually seen some red maple blooming. We've got a bunch of cherry blossoms. Seems like wild cherries in the woods.
Right. Well, hopefully.
But then it got cold.
Well, hopefully it'll ease up on you and you'll be able to get out there. I know
Day
you're
after tomorrow.
chomping at the bit to get out there and get in them colonies.
Bad, dude. Bad.
But you're seeing them fly. I mean, you've been out and looked at them, right? You're seeing them flying, or you haven't even been to them.
I've been down there once.
But they were flying when you went out there last time?
Yeah, they was doing good.
Good.
Good field force.
Well, we've got up to near 90 here in the last week or two.
Yeah.
Well, it's
So,
been in the
we get
80s,
in the up.
70s here. It's been in the 80s and 70s here. But then all of a sudden it'll just get down to the 30s one time.
I think it was 2 days ago we hit 91.
Yep, it's the humidity that keeps it warm at night,
Yeah.
and that and the cloud cover.
Well, it's 9:30 here right now, Central, and we're at
Yep.
60 degrees, but it's showing we're going to hit 43 tonight, and then it'll warm back up mid 70s tomorrow.
I'm at
Well, how are you
52 right
standing?
Yep.
But
You hear
I
me?
think
I
it
said
was,
36.
it was
We're at
back in
61.
February. I think it was February the 12th when I was talking about we done that Zoom meeting with Bob Benny on Joe May's channel, and we hit 30, 36, 37 one night, and then we were 80 degrees 3 nights later.
Well,
And
Yep.
Bob's like, man, y'all's weather is just crazy down there.
Oh, we had it.
Insane.
What was it in February? It got up to 78 degrees, and 3 days later it was snowing. And then the snow went away, and then it got back in the 70s, and the next Saturday it snowed again.
Snow.
Yeah, that's what I said. It happens like once a decade here.
Well, I'm pushing 60, and I've seen snow like 7 times in my life here. One time in my life, I saw the ground trees, and that was in Shelby County, about 100 miles north of where I am.
Usually when it snows here, it'll snow, and then by that afternoon, it's gone, right? It usually snows at night when the temperature's lower, and then by the next afternoon, it's all melted. It's just wet ground at that point.
I
So-
saw it here and freeze up for a month.
Yeah, I saw it snow in Houston when it was about 40 degrees.
Oh, we just lost him.
Lost him.
I wonder
He'll
if
be
the
back.
phone died.
What you got there,
What-
Earl?
Huh?
What are you holding?
A cigarette?
It looked
Oh.
like your penis coming in the screen.
I know. That's why I was asking, what the heck are
I'm
you
like,
holding there?
what's your girl holding
say
in the frame? She tried to call you off the stream.
What's that picture there behind you, Earl?
Some black bees. Old bees.
That's some mean bees over the mountain I've been trying to catch.
The mean bees.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring something up on screen here to show you real quick. This is my queen that I found the other day that returned.
That thing was pretty.
Yeah, I watched that video.
Yeah, hold
She
on,
did
it ain't
look
bringing
good.
it up.
It ain't bringing it up.
Let me redo this. Try that again. I don't know
The
what happened there.
nope. Hey, Michael, a lot of people torch the inside of their boxes.
I do.
Man, I love that hive.
Here you go, Earl.
She's quick, ain't she?
Oh yeah, big old tiger stripe.
Pretty.
I checked the inside. I've never found a queen on the inner cover yet.
I got her marked too.
Good deal.
Surprised you didn't put a number on her.
Clipper right rear wing.
I will. I'm figuring the one whenever I do my grafting it and everything, I'm gonna mark down that way I can see how productive or unproductive they are versus a walk-away split. I'm gonna try to keep track of them with my computer, see who's doing good.
Jamie Ellis says you cut that right rear wing. When they swarm, you'll find them out there on the ground because she can't get off the ground.
Or she won't fly out at all, right? She'll be sitting on the entrance.
9 times out of 10,
Bob,
they'll go back in the box.
I gotta tell you a quick little story, Bob. I'm working on a video that I done the same day when I marked that one, that little pink hive that was in the background. That was that second swarm I caught. Well, I went through there, found the queen. I was going to mark her. I kept on trying to pick her up and she'd run. I'd try to pick her up and she'd run nonstop. Finally, she jumped off the frame, took off flying, hit the ground, and then flew again. First thing popped in my mind, and I said it on the video. All right, Bob, I pulled a Bob. My queen flew.
It's happened, but she came back, right?
I left the top of that hive rack. 15 minutes later, I went through the hive again. She done flew back in.
I can't find I cannot find the queen in that swarm that I caught. That was marked. It was my queen. I can't find her. She's gone. But they act like they have a queen. They're quiet and on the frame, but I just
rearing up on you.
It's not very big. I haven't seen any brood in there.
No eggs, no larva.
So I think she's gone. And then one of my nukes is strong, but I haven't seen a queen walking around in that one either. So,
hey William, when was that video you talking about right there with the damaged wing? I'm gonna have to go back and check that.
Yeah, I have to go back and check that too. I get notifications, but I get a lot of notifications, so I have to literally scroll through. It'll just say 9+ a lot of times.
Yeah. That's what mine does, 9+.
And I've got to scroll back, so I miss some, and I end up watching them later, or they pop up in my feed, and I have to.
And then as busy as I've been between work and trying to set up the new yard and everything else, I hardly get to watch anything.
Hey, I got a channel for you guys to subscribe to.
I just lay around sleep all day, Lee.
He's a new beekeeping channel. It's KAM. Let me just see if I can. I think it's Cam's Bees or something like that. Let me do a quick search to see if I can find the channel. It's not Cayman. Everybody knows Cayman. He's only got like 3 or 4 subs. So it's a brand new channel. He left a comment on one of my videos, so let me see if I can find it. Cam, KAM Honeybees with a capital K, capital H, capital B. I think he's only got he doesn't have, I think I was number 3 on his subs. He's got 4 now.
He got 4 subs now.
So maybe I was number 4.
Now he got 5.
All right. So yeah, like to show smaller channels some love, because the reason I like to do that is because if they don't start getting some followers, what ends up happening is you feel like you're just putting stuff out on YouTube for yourself. And if that's the case, you get discouraged and then you don't put out any more videos. And I would rather see somebody I'd rather see somebody. And matter of fact, put a comment in there that we send them over, that we sent y'all
What
over.
What was it again?
Cams, KAMS Honeybees.
I just dropped a link in the comments.
And then you feel like you're only doing it for yourself. And if you're just doing it for yourself, you don't need to. Oh, look at here.
Saying device not connected though.
All right, we'll give him a second. I like that. And really want to try to put out as many as we can. Oh, Wi-Fi flaked out. Yeah, thank you, DP. Anytime, brother, come on back. I don't know. We can. It says device not connected. I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, it's
They
saying
won't
his
even
camera
connect.
and his mic ain't connected yet.
Okay. Yep, he's got to add that before we can add him in the stream. But you definitely, want to show the smaller channels. Everybody subscribes to 628 Dirt Rooster and all these people. They got 100,000 subs. I mean, it's the smaller, they're going to make their video, and their videos are different than everybody else's. So they're getting beekeepers that like beekeeping, and then they're getting people that are just interested in seeing the crazy bee swarm that they're cutting out, right? So they're getting non-beekeepers too. So they're kind of a crossover, but you don't too much see them going into a colony and saying, okay, today we're doing splits and this is what we're doing and this is how we're doing it. That's not their MO. And I love their channels, so don't get me wrong, but it's the smaller guys that are trying to get started that we want to try to help out and get going a little bit more.
The main time that I actually get to watch YouTube is when I'm at work.
In between naps.
Yep. When I'm home, I'm always too busy, but work is when I actually have time to do something.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, guys, I appreciate all of you because since we've been doing these live streams, pretty much everybody that's been on the live stream has noticed a increase in subscribers. I mean, it may not be a huge amount. I mean, for me, when you start looking at percentages, like if you look at Castle Grounds Apiary and you start looking at percentages, I'm gaining people, but my percentage is lower because I had a larger subscriber base when we started. But, when you start, Lee, you were saying how many subs did you gain this last 28 days?
I believe it was about 45.
And how many do you have now?
If trying to pull up right now, I believe it's 90.
So he's 100% increase from when he started.
Yeah.
So, and Earl, you gained subs too, right?
Oh yeah, quite a few.
And in the last 28 days, I've gained 100. Well, let me refresh this to make sure this is right. I've been blessed and gained 138. So when you consider 29 days ago, I may not even have had 138 people watch a video. You know what I mean? So I mean, that's 10%, increase. So
I average about 2 a day.
You may think we're just hanging out and having a good time, and we are. But when you guys come on and you dedicate a few minutes of spending some time in here and people get to know you, they want to watch your content. And it may be basic content. It could be you just putting a package in or a nuke, or, you have a problem on something.
Well,
and you
if it
video.
weren't for YouTube actually getting to see other people like you working your bees, I would go, I don't know what I'd do.
Well, sometimes I just go out there with my camera and walk through the yard. Like yesterday, the I Quit the Challenge video, I didn't go into a single beehive. I was just giving a status update on what's going on, kind of like you did when you drove through the mountains. Look, we got nothing. We got nothing. That's why I haven't done a beekeeping video. It's because I got nothing to show you.
It started to get something, and then it got cold.
So, you may think it's nothing. It could be anything you do. Even as simple as keeping that wax block in your pocket. Nobody's seen that happen. Just because you got, just because you got one sub doesn't mean that you don't have information you could put out. Subscriber count does not denote your knowledge on beekeeping. It doesn't, my mentor, prime example, guys, I'm not taking all his credit and his glory because he's been putting out videos religiously on South Carolina.
I can't keep up with him. He's pumping them out so fast.
He's been putting them out. They're not trust me, I love this man with all my heart. I'm not downgrading his videos, but he is not a videographer. It is not a Vino's Farm production where it's 8K high def, 37 different camera angles. It's not that. But his subscriber count has gone up. I mean, like 165%. And some of it is from his just generic growth. And some of it is because we talk about him on this channel and you guys have helped out and went subscribed and stuff like that. So, you know, he does stuff old country way too, right? I mean,
he does.
He ain't trying to impress nobody. And he'll say, you may see something, I'm going to use this empty prescription bottle, but he may open up his colony and you'll see something like this sitting in there. And you'd be like, what the hell is he using that for? You know, and he's got it cut in half. I literally saw him pull out a black velvet or black label liquor bottle out of his colony that he had cut out. And he uses that as a 1-to-1 feeder inside the colony. He just cut out the plastic bottle, set it in there, put some straw in there and feeds it out. So I wouldn't have thought to do that. I mean, I ain't putting in there. I have taken a milk jug and cut the bottom off the milk jug and sliced it down a little bit with a razor blade and made a little ramp where they could walk up into the trough. I've done that before. Hey,
I believe I'm hooked on them Ziploc bags.
He's back. Oh, have you done the Ziploc? I've never done the Ziploc.
Works pretty good.
Look who we got. Another first timer tonight. Look at that. Johnny Walker. Oh, have you done the Ziploc? I've never done the Ziploc. Look.
Hey, guys.
What's up, buddy?
Another first timer tonight. All right, you're going to have to mute your
fellas.
YouTube. Or close your YouTube down and watch us on the StreamYard.
I may have a.
You'll either have to close the YouTube window or just mute the video and then go through StreamYard Talk.
Sorry, guys. I thought I had this figured out before I got on.
Oh, that's all right.
I ain't never figured it out.
I still hear a loop for the moment.
Sorry.
Okay.
There you go.
That's what I did wrong.
What's that?
Is that coming from me, guys?
Well, you need to watch us in the StreamYard tab and not on the YouTube tab. So you have
okay.
Yep, that's what I did wrong.
You might have two windows open.
Because I could hear three different.
There, it's good now.
Oh, fantastic, guys. Hey, it's listen, I've been watching you guys and I've learned something from all of you. A lot of stuff actually, and I just wanted to get on
Probably
here and
what
introduce
not to do.
That's what I was going to say. You beat me to it.
Don't do that ever.
as long as I'm learning, right? You know, I'm a
it.
visual learner, and I just YouTube has just been wonderful teacher for me. I tried keeping bees for about 3 years back, 15, 16, and 17, and I tried to go treatment free, and varroa mites I think was what was getting me because I was seeing the virus and all that stuff, and I would hear people talking about it, going one ear and out the other, and so I gave up for a few years and started watching a few YouTube videos on swarm catches, and decided to build a couple swarm traps because I had some equipment in the barn, and within a few days I had scout bees, and I thought I was going to catch 2 swarms, but I think it was the same colony checking out both traps, and they moved into one, and so far made it through winter, and the colony's still doing good, and bought a couple of packages the other day, so I'm back up to 3 colonies now, and
Nice.
Good deal.
So really looking forward to this season, and feel like I know you guys, and so I just, like I say, just wanted to get on here and
You do know us. We talk all the time.
Yeah.
Just in words.
Yeah, Bob, me and you may be cousins, buddy.
It could be. I've actually got some relatives up in Clarksville area.
Oh, cool.
Up north, and most of my dad's family comes out of West Virginia. So I'm sure somewhere down the road We're related.
Yeah, that Walker name. Yeah, me and Hillbilly Earl too. We both got some Cherokee in our backgrounds, and so was chatting with him a little bit about that the other day. And so, I guess we're all related. You go far enough back.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Hey,
Well,
Johnny, you mind if I drop a link to your channel in the chat so everybody go check you out?
Oh, Lee, that would be wonderful. I really appreciate that, sir.
Well, we again, I don't know everything about beekeeping, but I'm not afraid to talk. You know what I mean? And I
that's the main thing.
Trust me, when I need one more sub to hit 1670, and I get a lot of flack. And my brother Earl stepped up today and was like pounding people on the peppermint. I get more. It's just take it for what it is. When you're watching a YouTube video, it's a YouTube video. You know what I mean? If you don't agree with something on it, then discount
it. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it. Discount it.
Do you?
I mean, that's how I am. If I see something on somebody's channel or something that maybe I don't think would work here, or I'm not going to try, I just don't try it. Or I don't, what's the whole saying?
I'm not going to tell them it don't work.
Yeah.
It might not work for me, but it may for somebody else.
If you don't have something nice to say, don't say nothing at all. How many times did your parents tell you that when you was a kid?
I heard it a lot.
How many times did you listen?
Yeah.
Well, you didn't have no choice in my household. If you didn't listen, you got whooped.
Pretty good. Bob, when you were talking earlier about your dad smoking in the car, I remember that so well. Actually, they would let us crack the window just a little bit, and I remember hating that smoke smell so bad. But then I started. I remember my mom sent me in the grocery store to get her a pack of cigarettes. I was probably about 12, 13 years old.
I remember them days.
I said, well, Mom, they won't sell me those cigarettes. Yeah, they will. Tell them they're for me, she said. And so I went in and said, my mom wants a pack of cigarettes. And so that evening I called my cousin. I said, hey, guess what I can buy? So that week,
I started at 9.
Smoking, of course. And my mom was like Ann Esther with a purse, chasing me around the car. And you were the very one that used to beg me not to smoke.
Yeah. You ain't been beat.
I remember when they were 60 cents.
Yep.
Oh, really? I remember when they were 50 cents, DP.
Oh, well, you're a little bit older than me, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll be 60. Be 60 in December.
Well,
okay, I turned 57 in July.
I remember when they hit $1. I said, man, $1, I've got to quit smoking. I'm going to quit when they're $1. That's bullshit. I'm quitting.
I'm going to quit when they're $2.
Yeah. Every time it's like I keep saying, I'm going to quit when they hit $3. I ain't going to buy these when they're, look, y'all.
Yep.
I ain't going to buy them when they're $3. I ain't going to buy them when they're $4. Now they're like $6,
I kept saying the same thing.
Yeah, menthol.
I kept saying that, and finally, September of 19, I quit smoking cigarettes. I started vaping, but I ain't had a cigarette in almost 3 years.
It's funny because my granny up in West Virginia started smoking when she was 14 years old. Smoked Camel non-filter.
That's what I learned on sneaking on from my uncle.
Straight and beech nut chewing tobacco.
Yep.
And she lived a long life. So
my granddad. Yep. That's like my granddad. Beech nut chewing tobacco. Camel non-filters. I.W. Harper with ice cream every night before he went to bed. And everything grandma cooked was fried. Fried fish, bacon, sausage, fried eggs.
And used
lard. The only thing that wasn't fried was the mashed potatoes, unless they was left over, and then she would make potato pancakes out of.
And everyone remembers the can next to the stove that had like the old grease poured in it that was like bacon grease, right? It was just bacon.
Got that. I got a little metal can with a flip top lid.
That's what she fried everything in.
That's what I started to say. Don't you everybody still got that?
Yeah, we got it here.
Hey, Johnny, just to let you know, you got 3 subs in like the last 2 or 3 minutes.
Oh, hey, thanks a lot. That increased me by like 50%.
Well,
I got one. I don't remember who it was, but I can't open YouTube again and screw everything up for everybody. I was wondering why it seemed like there was 5 different things going on at one time.
You guys inspired me. I had no intention at all of doing a YouTube channel, but watching you guys encouraging folks to just put something up, even if it's just to kind of show what they're doing. I kind of like Mike Berry's philosophy. Also, this isn't how to do; it's how I'm doing it. And
I think that's the point: is getting everybody's different ways of doing it and learning it, and putting it all in one toolbox so it's there when you need it.
Yeah, err on some of the stories, man. I mean, the peppermint thing is just so awesome, man. How that's such an old school trick that, like Bob said the other day, either it was never known or it was forgotten, and that's just blowing me away. Oh, and Bob, by the way, man, very very crafty on how you titled that video, man. I clicked on that thing so quick. I'm quitting the peppermint challenge.
I did too.
Well,
that was slick.
And believe it or not, okay, to give you an idea, all the people we had on that Tuesday Night Live were famous YouTube beekeepers, right?
Yeah.
That's got 306 views. That video from yesterday has 515, like double.
Wow.
Almost.
I don't know what it means, but my most viewed video is I quit.
Well, the thing is that to have an experiment, I have to be able to show a result. I can't show a result if there's no beetles to show the result with. Right now, later in the year, if it gets hot and heavy, I'm going to continue. Here's the problem: I'm going to continue to peppermint, so they may not ever get back to the way they were. I'm hoping, right? I'm hoping that's what happens. But
you're not eligible. You're not eligible to do the experiment anymore. You've already ran them all off.
Somebody was all over me yesterday. They said, well, at 6 minutes and 16 seconds, you said you had peppermint in all the colonies before you started the experiment. And I said, did you watch the playlist? Because in the playlist, I said that I had treated them and saw a reduction, which is why I tried to put the peppermint in the peppermint patties to see if that would further eliminate the situation.
Yeah.
And so
gotta watch it all, don't you?
I told the same thing to Frederick Dunn. Frederick Dunn came on in one of them, and he's like, well, you should be able to take those hive beetles and put them put them off to the side with the peppermint and see if they like it or don't like it, basically have one with and one without. But how do you do that exactly? Because don't the beetles need the hive to exist, right? That's what they're getting their food source from and everything. So it's kind of hard to do. The fact of the matter is that most of those guys, including Frederick Dunn, which he even said in that stream, or in that, you saw it, Earl, he said, I don't have hive beetles. So I'll leave it to the people that have hive beetles to figure it out.
Yeah.
And what I do notice is, okay, Johnny, you're in the South, Lee's in the South, Earl's in the South, DP's in the South. A lot of people on this chat right now are in the South that have hive beetle issues, but you don't see a lot of hive beetle YouTube videos. It's all about the varroa mite. Everything's varroa mite, because most of the people you're watching, even Cayman Reynolds, doesn't talk about hive beetles. He talks about varroa mites. Right. And so
varroa packs everything varroa does.
Well, maybe Cayman don't have a big hive beetle issue. I don't know. I've never seen him crack a colony and really, I've seen him smash a couple, but I've never really seen him talk about them. So
I'm one county away from Cayman, and I'm about 1,000-foot higher elevation, almost 1,900 feet elevation. And I know this same colony that I caught in that swarm last June. If I left the pollen pad with, and of course I've got peppermint oil in them now, thanks to you, Bob and Earl. But last year I didn't, of course. And if I left it in there more than 5 days, it'd be a bunch of beetle larvae in it. So it's going to be really cool this year to not have to worry so much about that.
Well, what I noticed with the one that I put the peppermint, okay, so when I started putting the patties on, first off, the patty had to go in one that had hive beetles. I wasn't putting it in. If I didn't see hive beetles in it, I put a regular patty in it.
Sure.
So I was trying to see if there was a difference. The one that I put the peppermint patty in, they ate it down. It was a half-pound patty. You guys saw in the video where I made the patties, and they were all about a half a pound. They ate down to about that far before I saw any hive beetles in it. So they got at least probably, most of the half pound was gone. They were able to consume it. On the other colonies, which unfortunately I told Lee about, but I didn't get video footage of it because it was one of those days when I was trying to get through all my colonies and didn't take the time to film. They only got about a quarter of the patty gone before there was hive beetle larvae in it. So I chucked the patty off of it, to get the beetle larvae out of there. But that's a huge difference between the amount of consumption that the colony could use before there was any beetle larvae in it. So once I took that patty off with the peppermint in it, I just put peppermint candies back in the corner. And, so it's not rocket science. It's peppermint candy and peppermint extract and peppermint. So I don't know if it, to be honest with you, is it Earl would probably be able to speak to this better than I am. What is it about the peppermint? Is it the peppermint itself?
Peppermint oil contains rosmarinic acid and menthol. It's the menthol that does it.
Yeah.
I could just put a pack of Marlboros in there then.
Well, no, no. My mom used to grow peppermint in her garden to keep the bugs away. Okay,
Yeah.
And she learned that from her ancestor. She was born in 32.
It's the same concept.
So peppermint keeps away mosquitoes. It keeps away all kinds of different bugs, cutworms, so on and so forth. You put
sand fleas,
peppermint between your tomato plants, and you won't have cutworms and so on and so forth. There's a lot of bugs that don't like peppermint, but seemingly, if you put it in a beehive, the bees will eat the candy. And it seems like somebody I heard on one of the videos said the bees eat it and they have it in their stomach and they feed each other. And the hive beetles beg food when they're in jail from the bees.
So the beetles
and the bees try to feed it to them and they don't like it. So they leave.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's really the philosophy. So if you went out to your colonies, how long have you had the peppermint in there, Johnny?
I've had in the peppermint patty. I only put them in this year, and I put a patty in about a couple of days ago.
Okay. Did you put any of the hard candies in, or just the patty?
No. I didn't have any yet. But I did have some old peppermint oil extract in the cabinet, and so I tried that. Yeah, I know. Right. I gotta get a bag of those.
Amazon 5-pound bag.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, that's a good deal.
Next year they're gonna catch on, jack up the price on us.
Hey, I believe Earl's part owner in one of these peppermint companies.
Peppermint companies.
Yeah,
but he ain't part owner in nothing. All right, put a background up. Just keep you seeing my busted pot.
Hey Earl, you think Casby recommended to crush them up just because that way you could get a lot more out of one, is it not okay to use whole ones because they last longer?
I use the whole ones.
He just didn't have it as enough a problem where he kept it beat down that's all he had to use to keep it maintained. That's the only thing I can imagine. A lot of guys like me and Bob done a video here just the other day. Brian Coper did on that Castle Highs, and he put whole ones in.
Yeah.
A lot of people do, and Mike Berry said he tried the whole ones.
Well, the main thing is they got to make sure they're putting it on every level. If it's a single box, then you need to have it on in one, right? But you want to have it all the way up. So
Otherwise, the beetle's just gonna run somewhere and hide. But if you put it in
Yeah, I
that
noticed,
place,
Earl,
they got nowhere to hide.
I noticed, Earl, you said on one video it's real important to put it on all corners, even the bottom board. But I noticed a lot of guys are just putting it up
I haven't
top,
put
but
it
they
in the
seem to be
bottom
having good results.
It'll melt sometimes and run down them cracks and go all the way down before they get it in. But sometimes they'll eat it before it melts. But 95 degrees is pretty warm.
Oh yeah.
I think with the peppermint being whole.
Yeah, they melt at 88 degrees.
At 88.
That was our last high. Yeah, and it was dripping down.
And
so, but I didn't put them on the bottom boards, but I put them in the new packages when I installed them, and there's no hive beetles in there, and I didn't put any traps in it.
And the thing is, with those
packages,
they're also
the strong hive. What?
They're also the weakest colonies you have are the packages. So,
no, the weak colony would probably be the weakest.
Well, I mean, they don't have any comb drawn out unless you gave them all established comb and everything. So
I did.
So
I did. I had comb. I gave him comb, and I've got, like I said, I got four frames of brood in one and 5 in the other.
Right.
And my battery's going low.
I'd split that thing. I'd be out there splitting it tomorrow, DP, if the weather's good.
Yeah, I've been thinking the same thing, and I got some of those Pro Nukes.
Here's something you could do as well. You could take a frame of that brood out of that strong colony and drop it in your weak colony, and give it a shot in the butt to get it going good.
Yeah, that's a thought. I got 2 medium Nuke 5 frames that I ordered from Miller, and I got frames for that, and I'm going with wax foundation because I tried plastic foundation, wax foundation, and natural drawn comb. Natural drawn comb goes a lot faster, but if you don't reinforce it, like I didn't know, if you don't reinforce it somehow, when you turn it that way, it tries to break off.
Yeah.
So,
fishing line, 8-pound test.
Yeah, well, the plastic, they chew the wax off of it.
Yeah.
And they draw a wonky comb on there, and God knows what they have. So the first 2 10 frames I had, I put nukes in. I ended up with 5 frames that had not fast drawn comb, not slow drawn comb, but half.
What plastic were you putting in there? Do you remember what foundation you were buying?
It came with what I got from Walmart.
Oh, well, there you go.
And I didn't know that it didn't have wax it didn't have wax on it. So
that's what I read, Lee. That's what got me cracked up when I read that.
So what I've gone to, and when I started, I was all foundationless. I was just taking the top, the wedge that's on a frame that you.
Right.
I was snapping that off, gluing it in, and just running wax. Taking a little acid brush, the little metal acid brush, and dipping it in wax and painting it on that wood, and stringing it with fishing line. And then I realized that's a lot of work. And so I went to the Acorn Plastic Heavy Wax Foundation, and they liked that pretty well. And then I bought all those boxes, and I started realizing, well, if I need 250 deep frames for my deep boxes and I need 500 frames for my supers that I just bought, I'm not building all those frames. It's not happening. So I went to the Acorn plastic frame.
Okay.
That's triple wax. So the difference is if you got 2-3 colonies, buying a few frames is not that bad, right? It's not too terrible. when you've got 20 colonies or 25 boxes and you're buying 250 frames and you're buying them already wood and getting the insert, you're looking $4 to $5 per frame. I was getting these for $2.25, and it's the same foundation I was using. So that's why I went with these. Now, Lee will take these, or you get the Pierco or the Premier. What are you getting, Lee?
To be honest, I don't remember what it is. I want to say Right Sail is what Better Bee puts on theirs, but don't quote me on that.
I know Man Lake's got the Right Sail, but with these, Lee actually will paint extra wax on it, like he's got right there with the roller. Even though it comes with wax on it,
I found the wax that comes on it. If it's sat in the warehouse for a while, sometimes they don't want to touch it, but I put a fresh coat of wax on it and they'll draw it out quick.
There's a hack for that too, though. You could take your old lady's hair dryer and hit it with the hair dryer, and it'll melt this old, the stuff that's kind of dried on here. It'll melt it back clear, and it rejuvenates it, and then it's more fresh, I guess. What part of Tennessee are you from, Johnny?
I'm from Monterey, Tennessee. It's a small, I'm outside of Monterey, about 4 miles. That's the closest town, but it's about halfway between Nashville and Knoxville, real close to I-40.
Okay. Yeah,
so northern Tennessee. I'm not too far from the Kentucky line, about an hour drive.
Well, he's close to you, Earl. He's not too far from you, maybe.
Not too far.
Yeah, it's
about
upper
3.5
East
hours.
Tennessee.
Yeah, Mike, on that comment there, my first year I sprayed a little bit of sugar water on it, and they seem to take to it a little bit, but not near as much as if I rolled fresh wax on.
You're going to hit, if you guys saw, my wife said, what are you doing tomorrow? I think we might need to get the rest of that porch cleaned out so you can get these frames out of the kitchen. I got six cases of frames in the kitchen, and they're in pretty big boxes. And I've got two cases of frames out in my little storage building outside, my little pump house. So
I can't believe it. You know them youngins would have done had all that put together for you.
Not mine. Mine are all grown. They don't want nothing to do with no bees.
I don't know how good you can see, but I got boxes stacked in my office, but this is my toy room, so I get to put whatever I want in here.
Well, I can send you all these frames for a good price, and
we might have to talk about that.
Hey, I probably could start selling stuff because people around here, I saw somebody asking for queens. I know where the queen guy is now. I could be like, hey, I'm going down to get some queens. Anybody want some? And charge them retail, and I go down there and get them wholesale and maybe pay for a couple of my queens in the process,
That's just business, dude.
Yeah.
What kind of queens?
These are called, the company's name is Kutik, Kutik. And they're the biggest, they supply all the nukes for Man Lake, Better Bee, Dadan. When you go to their website and they're saying order bees, these are the bees you're getting. And they're an hour away from me. And I just found out, thanks to this stream from Charlie believe it or not, Charlie up in Maryland, Baltimore, told me where these guys were, and they're an hour away from me. But their website shows they're in New York, but they raise all their bees down here an hour away from me. So I was able to go down there and pick up 10 mated queens, and they call them K9, like the dog, K9 queens. And he showed the video of they opened up a cap brood, and it had a varroa on it. And these bees took that varroa off of that brood that was ripped open and tore it apart, tore it to pieces. So I'm hoping that helps with the varroa. They also picked up a hive beetle and flew it out. So hoping.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he showed me a video. He said, watch this. The bee grabbed a hive beetle and flew off with it. So Hey, I'm attacking high
Well-
beetle on all fronts. we gotta.
Well, I've got a theory, and it seems like down where I'm at, where we don't have winter, that Varroa really aren't an issue. And Mr. Ed doesn't treat, Dirt Rooster doesn't treat, a lot of other people that are down, you know, in the South, the real South, I mean, the really bad heat-ridden South, where we don't have winter, don't have that big a problem with Varroa.
Right.
It's the hive beetles. The hive beetles hit us when it's winter up there and it's snowing. Right.
We don't get brood breaks, right? We really don't get brood breaks.
Not really.
No.
They may slow down
around
a little bit.
Thanksgiving. You do, but after Thanksgiving,
Our nukes here go for anywhere from 185 to 200.
Last year, ours were 150 here. They're 165 this year.
oh wow.
But it depends on the. Well, I imagine if you're buying nukes and you live in Georgia, that they're probably a little bit cheaper because all the breeders seem to be in Georgia.
The nukes that we get here, you better hurry up and get home and get them in a 10-frame box, or they're going to swarm on you on the ride home.
So what I'm thinking is next
They
year,
loaded. They loaded.
I'm thinking next year I'm going to start a nuke list for people that want nukes, and I'll go down and pick them up, and then they can either come to me or I'll make a trip and drop them off or something. Because
That's too far to drive for me.
oh, Texas, yeah. Well, you guys got cheap nukes down there. Cheap.
Last nukes I bought were from Peterson Farms out of Minnesota, I think. They got yards down here, and they were north of $200.
Really?
Dang.
Well,
Wow.
the
Yeah.
way
And they're VSH, supposedly. And I've got no complaints because those are the two that made it through. And they're the two queens I have. Unless that one swarmed, which I think she did. So
the
and I
ones
know there's beekeepers near me.
the ones down here, the more you buy, the cheaper the price gets, right? So
Yeah.
the benefit for doing it this way is okay. This is kind of what I was discussing. So let's say you guys, and let's say Johnny says, hey, I got a group of guys here that want 50 nukes combined, right? And then let's say DP says, I got a group of guys that got 50 nukes combined. Well, 50 gets you a certain price, but 100 would get us a different price, right? So basically, you guys would get the $50, the same, the price they would charge you for 50, but for me doing the running, then you guys would get the difference between what retail was and what you were buying it at 50, and I would get the price difference between what you guys were buying it and the 100. Does that make sense? So I would make money, you guys would make money selling it, that type of thing. So it's a thought at this point, but the more that you sell, the cheaper the price gets, and everybody can still make a little bit of money in the meanwhile, right, for making the run.
Now, if you were to buy a 10-frame box of bees, what would that run y'all?
Oh, I don't know.
Versus a nuke.
I've only seen them coming out of California for 10 frames for like 180 or something like that.
See the apiary up the road here for me.
Yeah.
I'll show you this one. This is what they're running.
But that's 9
165.
frames. 9 frames of bees.
Yeah, it's got the feeder in it too. But 5 frames, 165, 25 for a queen, and then 265 for the 10 frame.
I can get the 10 frame
Texas
for
Bee
250.
Supply has 10 frames, and they have Italians and they have Cordovans, and the Cordovans are north of $300. I don't remember the exact price.
Well, the only problem I have with and it's not a problem per se. The only question I have is unless they're artificially inseminating the queens, they're all full of shit. Because once that queen flies out on the mating flight, she's getting banged by any bee in the neighborhood, right? So
Yeah,
at that point,
the secret is the drones, I think.
Right? It's whatever's in the area. So my mentor that's 3 miles away, he calls all his bees Hopkinized bees because he can't for sure say, when he bought them, they were Italian when he started, right? 15 years ago. But it's like now his genetics are whatever's in the area, So that's kind of what he says, Hopkinized bees. And I have to agree with him because once you do that first split, if it's a walk away split or not artificially inseminated, she's going to fly out and get mated with whatever drones are in the area. And at that point, she's no longer pure, right? So,
well, and I think that's the secret to getting rid of Africanized, because you can tell a Cordovan, okay, if I get these queens and they're supposed to be Cordovans and they're getting them out of California.
right.
I'm sure of that. Somebody I talked to here locally said, yeah, they're getting them out of California. There's a place in California, and I think Bruce's Bees got some of those out of California.
Yeah, those are Jose's.
No. It was last year or the year before.
I know he said he got some from Lappies. He probably got some from somebody else too.
Yeah, well, he got 2 different varieties, and then he had them actually start coming out, and some of them escaped. But I've been watching videos for.
But Bob Binney, I want to go get some of Bob Binney's queens. He's about 4 hours away from me, but he don't mail them. You have to go drive and pick them up, and they won't have any till the middle of April.
Get you one of them $1,000 Sue Kobe's.
No, I'm good.
No way.
Because that'd be the bitch.
No, but I'm gonna try them. I'm gonna try them because even no matter what they're mated with, if they are Cordovan, you'll tell by the color. You're going to tell by the color because it's a pronounced difference.
Right.
And, the white in the stripe. And even if they're mated with something else, they still have that Cordovan line, and their drones are going to be
right
Cordovan. So I think that if everybody got together, we could go to Central Texas and Arizona and New Mexico and put different varieties of queens out there.
Well, last year I bought
drone brood in with them and feed them and get them to breed drones and get rid of it.
I bought some
because that's just nature.
Oliveras out in California last year, and everybody's gone up 25%. Last year I could get queens for $30 up from Oliveras mailed to you, and this year they're $40.
Wow.
And Jose went and bought him one of them Sue Kobe breeders.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, but I think what was his video where he said was it like 10,000 that they've already grafted 10,000 queens or something like that?
Oh my God, he's got so many, dude. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But do the math on that. Those guys ain't broke.
Dude, that's the Mercedes out in their driveway. Did you not see it?
Unlike me, do you see that?
You're
above my head?
You're in your car right now?
No, I'm in my house. I live in a trailer.
Hey, that's a manufactured home, sir. That's what
No,
we call
that's a travel trailer.
a travel. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with it.
Well, you know, COVID hit, and I had a lot here in East Texas, and I was paying about $1,200 for rent on a 1-bedroom apartment for me and my teenage son. And we've got almost as much room in this travel trailer as we did in that 1-bedroom apartment, 1-bedroom trailer.
My daddy lived in one till the day he died.
Hey.
Well, we got Mike in the waiting room, but I don't see any video.
If your richest relative asks you to help him move, and you have to put the wheels back on his trailer, you might be a redneck.
Hey, here's a joke. All right, so how is it? Oh, how is a divorce in the South and a tornado alike?
I know that one.
Somebody's bound to lose a trailer.
You just wasn't gonna say the first part of that punchline, though, huh?
What I might have just heard it different than you.
I'm not gonna say it on here. We might get demonetized.
No.
I haven't turned monetization on yet.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's redneck
I'm
thing.
gonna throw it over on the private
Keep it
side.
amongst the rednecks. You can't do it on YouTube.
We had to bring the northern flavor in. Hey, Mike.
Hey guys, I just want to stop in and because I've never talked to Johnny and DP and Earl before, so I just want to call and say hello from the tundra.
The frozen tundra.
Good to meet you. I saw you on the stream Thursday night. It's good to meet you, sir.
Very nice meeting you there, Johnny. Appreciate that. And DP, our first home was a trailer. You know, so I'm right there with you, brother. And I live in a fishing cabin I remodeled, so you know.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm in a double wide myself, still trailer.
There you go.
Well, I had a full-size trailer. And it burned down. So.
Now,
oh yeah, that can get interesting.
Is it me? The older I get, the more I start thinking about reducing things.
Yeah.
You know, and especially expense. Monthly expense is like the number one thing that I'm like, I need. It's okay. This truck, get that paid off, done. You know, just trying to get to the point to where we all know Social Security is not going to carry us very well. So if it's even there when we get there, you know, they keep bumping that year back to, like, I think for me it's 70 now before I could get full on Social Security. I'm like, well, you guys just want me to die right before I can apply or something.
Well,
that's exactly it.
That's what they hope for.
That's exactly it. When they passed it, the average age or the average lifespan of a working man was 48 years old. And then your father and my father and my grandfather it's the one time the working man stuck it to the politicians. They all lived into their 80s and 90s. Okay. And now me and you, Bob, and probably you, Mike.
Yeah.
And Johnny, we're all above the age of when we were supposed to have died in 1937 or 38, whenever they passed it, by 10 years or more.
Right.
So
DP, I totally forgot about those numbers. I thought it was just a little higher than that, but I don't doubt you at all. It was an interesting gambit, you know, not taking into account, you know, one thing or another. But hey, guys, I got a question for you. What do you guys got for a drought forecast there this summer? Do you guys have anything like that coming your way?
Drought? I haven't looked. We get a drought every year. It gets like 110.
That's not a drought. Bob, that's not a drought. That's
With no
leaving the
rain.
oven door open.
According to our almanac, it's showing we're going to have a little bit less rain this year than we did last year, but it's supposed to be on average.
Is it? Okay.
It's
Last
been-
year was way above average. We had too much rain.
Really?
Seems like we've had a bunch of rain so far this year. So
Man, Appalachia's a temperate rainforest. We get quite a bit.
Well, I was wondering about that. And honestly, and Johnny, where you are with all the doggone streams you got going through there. I was in Tennessee. What was it? About 2 months ago. God, I love that state. I really do.
Yeah.
What you guys don't have for lakes, or you got streams coming out, from Natchez Trace on down. It's like, what the heck is this?
Yeah, there's water everywhere. There sure is. A lot of streams. We're real lucky. And where I live is a small unincorporated community called Sand Springs. And so there's a whole lot of springs around the property here. And where I've got my beehive set up, there's one within about 50 feet of them. So.
Oh, that's just bloody fantastic. That's
now, you guys keep your bees on your own property, or you keep it in outyards, or?
Yes, sir. On my own property. I've just got so few. I mean, I hope to get up to 10 be by the end of the year, Bob, and maybe double that by next year. And so I'm hoping. I think this area will hold that many. There's been beekeepers several years ago, really close to me here, that had over 100 hives.
Whoa!
I had a guy stop by and buy honey yesterday, and it turns out he owns the 2 pieces of property, not right behind where my nukes are, but the 2 lots on the other side of that. And like a dummy, I didn't ask him, hey, would you mind if I set some colonies up on your property, and then you won't ever have to buy honey anymore? I'll just make sure you got enough honey.
That's what I do. Every other site that I have besides my house here, I give them at least 1 case of honey a year, depending how many hives I have on that location. It could be 1 case, it could be 2 cases.
So I just ran into something on Craigslist. I just looking at Craigslist today, and I was surprised. I ran into about 3 ads for people that have land that want somebody to put bees on them. Now, I've never seen that before.
I only see nukes and swarm removals on mine.
Yeah, I saw that too. But and that's something else, Bob, we've never seen before here is people putting up in fact, I think one of them was Swarms Wanted or something like that. But
well, Mike, what state are you in?
I'm in Minnesota. I'm in the kind of like the eastern central. I'm probably about an hour north of the Twin Cities. So we've got the kind of like the headwaters for the Mississippi. It's not the Mississippi. It's called the St. Croix River, and you can drink right out of that doggone thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's Prairie Home Companion territory.
Well,
yeah.
You don't have
nobody else. Does anybody else but Mike know what I'm talking about?
You got me,
Prairie
buddy.
Home Companion.
No, and that's right up there with the Red Green Show. So
I know that one.
Find you handsome, they shall at least find you handy.
Prairie Home Companion was an NPR show.
Yeah, Garrison Keillor. Yeah.
Yep. Well, here in Texas, if you have 5 acres or more, you can claim an agricultural.
Oh, I heard about
exemption.
that. Yeah, that's bloody fantastic.
If you have bees on it, and you don't have to be the one keeping the bees. So here in Texas, I don't know about Minnesota, but here in Texas, if you have a 5 acre or a 10 acre spot of land, and you have a house on it, and there's some trees there, you can get somebody else to keep bees on your property. You just sign a contract for 5 years or whatever, and allow them to have access to your property to maintain hives, and you get an agricultural exemption on your property tax, would save you a bundle of money.
And I wonder if that's what's happening in Washington County. That's just east of me where these people are putting up their ads. That's really curious.
I would check your state laws.
I heard of people here that have 10 to 15 acres. I don't know if there's an acre limit or anything on it, but I know one guy specifically that had 15 acres, and he actually got the agriculture exemption as a tree farm just because it was all wooded.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he timbered it once like 20 years ago or something, you know, and it's all grown trees now. So
my family has a tree farm in East Texas. We grow a lot of trees.
Do you really?
What they call the big thicket.
What kind of trees?
Pine. Well, pine, oak, they all grow together, but it's mainly pine. You plant pine. The oak grows.
What kind of pine?
Whether you like it or not.
Loblolly pine?
What kind of pine do you have?
Yes. Well, they're planting them. And Temple, you ever heard of Temple, Texas? Temple East Tex is a company. Temple, Texas, the town. Back in the late 1800s, he started buying up land that had been clear cut. And he started because there was like a lag and the market went down, and he invested and he bought a whole bunch of land. And I mean, thousands and thousands of acres in plots. And he started planting trees, and his peers told him he was mad. He was crazy. And do you hear of forest fires happening in East Texas?
Yeah, I did. There was, I forget how many, there were a lot reported there. I think it was last week.
Not like they do in California where they burn towns down.
No. And I think from the number of fires they were talking about that were in Texas, to me, it's I was just talking to a neighbor about this.
Yeah, those are grass fires.
Grass fires. Okay, thank you, DP. Yeah, the first time I flew into Houston, I'm looking out the window and I'm flying out over this, like, all these, acres and acres of pine trees. And I thought, what? When you think about Texas, you don't think about pine trees. So that's because they do it all at West Texas. Okay.
But yeah, East Texas, they called it the Big Thicket.
Really?
Yes. From just north of Houston all the way up to Oklahoma and Arkansas border and over into Louisiana, Shreveport, Bossier City, northwest Louisiana, all that's pine trees. It's called the Big Thicket.
All the way up through Nacogdoches, Texas. Huh?
Nacogdoches, yeah, like John Wayne said. Pardon me, have you ever been to Nacogdoches?
That's where my daughter's at now.
Really?
Really?
Hey guys, I got to run, man.
Less than 100 miles.
All right,
Have a good one.
Take care.
Appreciate you guys.
God bless you, Earl, and God bless your being.
Appreciate you, Earl. God bless.
God bless y'all, man. We'll see y'all.
Take care.
See you, Earl.
Yeah. So here's a question for you. If the forests that are down in Texas there, do any of them have plants growing underneath the trees where you can get nectar out of them?
There's Yaupon, and we have privet here, which is an invasive species.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yes.
It makes some good honey, though.
Well, that's what you're saying.
And sporadically, you have, like up in Shelby County, where I have property up there, which is about 100 miles north. It borders Louisiana. Right about where you see the Sabine River, if you look on the Texas map, where you see the river become the state line, that's Shelby County, right there where the river comes in.
Oh, I've heard of Shelby. The reason I was asking,
there's a lot of tallow there, and there's a lot of tallow down near the Houston area. Where I'm at right here in Polk County, there's not a lot of tallow in my immediate area, but there are in surrounding areas.
It's only a matter of time. It'll be there.
See, we got quite a bit of privet here, but our main flow is tallow.
But we have sweet gum, which is native. It's related to the maple family. And sweet gum, and it's mostly trees, and you have a lot of wildflowers like the blueberries. But right now, in my immediate area here, it's kind of touch and go with the flow from what I can see, because I'm still feeding my packages and they're still taking it. I put 3 gallons in the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
And in my strong hive, I put 1 gallon in a week ago, and there's only about a third of it left. But they've got a lot more foragers. So there's a lot of flowers, and there's a lot of trees. The oaks are blooming. The elms are coming out. The sweet gums are starting to come out. But I'm kind of in a dry area here. If you move 100 miles north, there's tallow like you wouldn't believe.
Oh, is it really? That's got to be nice.
You guys
100 miles north of here.
You get much kudzu
you cut
down
down some? I'm sorry, Bob. What?
I was asking DP if they get any kudzu down there.
No kudzu, just honeysuckle, and that hadn't come out yet. But no, we don't have kudzu. That's basically northeast. We don't have kudzu here.
So Johnny, what's your nectar flow like that? Your nectar source?
Well, I'm still just learning, but from what I understand, of course we got tulip poplar, we got black locust, we got a lot of blackberry. There's some reclaimed sand mining around us here, a lot of blackberry there, and of course, purple dead nettle, henbit, all those things. We do have, it's interesting you mentioned kudzu. I wasn't aware, but there's quite a bit of kudzu within a couple miles of us here. And I'm assuming that's a pretty good source. You were asking about there, Bob?
Yeah, kudzu will actually, Bob Binney says kudzu makes your honey taste like grape knee-high.
I kind of remember that. Yeah.
That would be wonderful.
Now, I know the honey I pulled off this last time, this honey right here, it tastes kind of like Skittles candy.
Oh, does it? Wow.
So it's a very unique taste to it. I usually keep jars like this, so when people come, I'll let them sample the honey that they want. Like I had one of this for the cigarette wrapper. For the buckwheat, I had one like this for this, and I had one like that for you can't see it, buckwheat, this one, and for the other color. Most people don't understand that honey comes in different colors and flavors, right? They just are used to what they see at the store, and it all looks like this, and they don't understand. Even I've had beekeepers come up and say, well, why is your honey so light? And I'm just, 5 miles from you, and my honey's much darker than yours. Well, you live in a residential neighborhood. You've got people that are grooming their lawns and their shrubs, and he's got tallow near him that I don't have that big a tallow down around me. So the honey's different. It's just different.
Yeah.
And they're like, well,
you don't think
you feed your bees? Well, yeah, I do feed my bees in the summer, when there's a dearth and nothing's happening. I feed them to keep them alive over winter. So,
oh man, so I'm going to. I've been using top feeders and Boardman feeders for years, and I'm switching over to buckets. But one of the things I'm going to do is use the tin plugs or the hydraulic cap plugs in the buckets, and I'm going to set them up according to if I want a heavy feed or if I just want to do a maintenance feed during the dearth. And a little tip from Bob Binney there. I think he was showing guys drilling holes in those caps or whatever. And I thought, that just makes too much sense, because I don't think, it's, just vary the rate of feed. By the way, do any of you guys use any chlorine or bleach in your sugar?
My mentor puts a cap when he mixes it. He puts a cap of bleach in his sugar syrup, and
keeps it from fermenting. Keeps it from makes it last longer. I'm
molding in the bucket.
I've heard some of them putting the apple cider vinegar in there too to help
That's what I
last
use.
longer.
Yeah, there you're making a pH change, and I don't know what direction is good or bad on that. But do any of you guys make wine?
I have before.
Yes,
in the
I have.
past. It's
Yeah,
been
how about
weird.
you put, let's say you got your mash going there, and you put a couple Cabden tablets in there to sanitize it, kill all the bacteria that's in there. I'm kind of wondering if that's what happens with the bleach, because the bleach pretty much disappears out of there. Randy Oliver was talking about that. One thing I found is that if I put in, and I forget how much it is, I look at Bob's recipe there, but I don't get any of the black mold on my feeders. It just doesn't happen. And I think it's not a stain power. I think what it might be doing is sanitizing it. But here's a kind of a weird thing here. So I got some neighbors behind me here that I've had like a big above ground pool. And all the chlorinated water that was splashed out there, the bees would be all over that in the spilt. I mean, they were thick on that. So I have a couple water fountains here. One that it's in the shade, so I throw a little chlorine on occasion. And one on my back deck that I just let go. And you'll get some kind of, and then the bird feeders, don't put any in there. And what's funny is to watch the bees. Some of them will go to the chlorinated water, and some of them will go to the water that has algae on it. And they seem to almost be like eating the edge of the algae. So it's just and how many people know that there's such a thing as actual water bees? That's their job. They go out and get water. So I don't know what's going on, but if you guys have any of the problem with the black mold on your feeder, look up the amount that Bob's talking about. It made such a major difference to me and I took it. I was really careful with it. It's like, you're going to try it on one eye, right? But it just made a major difference. I couldn't believe the reduction in mold. Around the feeders and so on.
I'll tell you what, I listened to David Burns, master beekeeper, one time, and he said mix one time. That's all it took for me to realize it was messed up. Was he took pollen sub, he took Ultra B and mixed it in with his 1-to-1 sugar syrup, because
it just settles.
Well, it settles and then it plugs up your Boardman feeders, the hole. And then you can't get the damn stuff out of the little holes because it hardens up.
I don't get that.
Well, he said,
yeah. Well, I poked a hole. I poked a hole in one of mine so bad I had to silicone that sucker up because I had my pocket knife and I'm trying to dig it out, and
oh no!
I poked a big hole in it, and I had to take a piece of caulk and put in there.
Oh,
but yeah, I don't have a problem with the black mold here, because in Livingston, the community water here coming out of the lake, it's got. Before I moved up here, a guy I worked with in Houston, Humble area, North Houston area, he lives here, somewhere within 5 miles of me, and he said that he's got small children, and he took and checked the water with his pool, because he has a little pool out there for his kids, and he checked it with the whatever the kit is that you use, and
pH tester.
It was like twice as much chlorine as he's supposed to have at his pool coming out
so
of
they put city water, they put chlorine and fluoride in it, and I guess I'm lucky. I've got my own well, so I'm not dealing with that. But that's actually DP. You brought up a really interesting thing. I mean, I've never heard. Maybe you guys have, but I've never heard anybody ever talk about using city water that's fluoridated in feeding their bees, and what the repercussions would be, or none. It just
they love it.
Teeth are all white. I know that.
Yeah, they love it. I put about a tablespoon of salt in mine.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's another
per
thing.
gallon.
Yeah, Frederick Dunn did a thing about that. The different waters, he put them out, and
that's where I got it.
Was it? He put a little bit of salt in. That's
about a tablespoon of salt per gallon.
Really.
I heard a little thing here a while back. Somebody going to Tractor Supply and buying the little salt blocks like you would have for your horse or your cow or whatever, and putting those out in the bee yard.
Yeah,
interesting.
They said the salt block or the mineral block you can put out there, and the bees will actually feed on that, and it'll help balance their gut.
I've seen 3 or 4 of them on it. Yeah.
I want to get some mineral block here for my deer. So Lee, thanks for bringing that up. That's really interesting. It makes sense though.
You know, my bee's favorite water, and you guys see it every video, and I never bring it up, is I walk by this wheelbarrow that's full of like old cans and stuff.
Yeah.
And I had burned, that was from burning. And I took the cans and stuff out of the burn pile and put them in the wheelbarrow because I was going to dispose of them. And then it rained real hard and the wheelbarrow filled up with water. And every day there's bees in that. They prefer that over any other water I have out here. I don't know why.
Nasty, brackish water.
Yep.
And very interesting. So there's something in there about the minerals or the bacteria or whatnot. Somebody just threw something up about being coffee time. Dude, it's like 10 to 11. James, it's 10 to 11 my time.
Monster Energy time.
David Burns.
That was a reference back to David Burns. At the end of his video, he does a little coffee time.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't drink coffee.
I don't know. There's a few people that, I trust me, when I watch people's videos, I try to stay. There's a few people that I just, it has nothing to do with them personally. It's me. It's what excites me about watching the video.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've seen Frederick Dunn on like the stream team, and he was a totally different personality.
Oh, he really is.
From what he was on his videos. His videos, I can't stay. They're just too, for me, they're too monotone and too, it's like I'm going to fall asleep, you know?
He's Benny Hill.
But when you watch him on live stream, he's very witty and quick.
He has a wonderful dry sense of humor. I know he cracks Cayman up, but the same thing. I could make a joke about him going to Cornell University, and that's why he's so damn dry. But that's, you have to be there to get that. I don't know.
You know, but watching him on those live streams, he's got a personality that I feel like I could really mesh with.
Yeah.
However, watching his videos, to me, they're very clear. They're very nicely.
Oh, extremely professional. Just right to it. I'm sorry if this offends anyone, but I can't watch David Burns. See, I'm trying to remember who the hell David Burns is.
Well,
Master Beekeeper.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's the shorter guy.
Yeah.
Was he the guy that was like selling sugar lids? You know,
selling the what?
Had a video about this is the monstrous hive I've ever had. I looked at it, it's 5 boxes tall, and I'm like, shit.
Lee had 5 honey supers on one of his last year.
Okay.
That's him.
I'm sorry. I'm sure he's a nice guy. He probably knows a bunch of stuff, but I can't watch him. He's right up there with the bug farmer. But
hey, the bug farmer watches me sometimes.
Hey, yeah,
cool.
He's
hey, I like his orange flannel shirt.
Yeah,
I like the bug farmer. The bug farmer for me, he's well, first of all, he's a veteran, so that's a plus in my book. I think he was actually in the same branch of service that I was in, so that's a plus in my book.
Really?
But you know, some of the stuff, I'm curious. He heats his colonies all winter long.
Yeah.
He's got a thermostat set on, some kind of heater. I don't know how he heats it because I didn't really watch all those, but it's pretty neat. And we asked the question one time, well, how's his resource consumption? If he's keeping his colonies warm, means they're not having
to shiver as much,
in the winter. So it means they would be using more resources, right?
Yeah, and Vino Farms put that D-barn thing in, and they didn't use hardly any honey over the winter, and he's way up north.
I like
I should actually put up a video sometime of that. We wrapped a hive, the size of it were what, R12 or something like that. We did the whole polystyrene, painted them black. Those damn bees didn't use anything throughout the winter. They didn't have to shiver. Really? They came out just insanely strong and whatnot. But we're using the pink 250 ground rated stuff, and it's too damn hard to store. If you get like 20 hives, and you try to wrap them all like that, you're in deep crap. But yeah, they really don't eat that much. But Jim's a neat guy, but I don't think he's ever read a book on beekeeping, which is kind of interesting. So it's fun. There's all of us that know more than somebody else, and
some of us can't read.
Amen, brother. Thank you. I walked right into that one. No, the thing that I actually
I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself.
Oh, God bless. I'm illiterate in 14 different languages, so
there you go. Yeah. I deal with people all over the world. China, Brazil.
One thing I really enjoy about Fred Dunn's his intros. If he has a video coming up, I'll turn it on just to watch the intro. That guy is an amazing photographer. It drives me nuts.
Oh yeah.
And then I looked at the cameras he's got, and it's something he pulled off the Hubble spacecraft and paid $10,000 for.
He does.
He's probably got a 220. Yeah, he's probably got a 220 cord going to that camera to power the damn thing.
I believe they said he's a professional photographer also on the side.
Big time, exactly. Yeah, no, it's.
I think so.
As we in the South would say, God bless his heart.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I got some camera equipment back there, but I'm trying to get out of it.
Didn't you find one on a shelf someplace or something? You were talking about that?
Well, I got an iPad. That's why I'm here. You can see it. Yeah. And my iPhone.
What were you saying, Mike?
Is giving me
weren't you saying something about you found a camera that you wanted on a shelf someplace and said that's the one I'm going to get, or?
That one I don't remember. I got a couple of Nikons back here though. I do wedding photography on the side every now and then.
I know. You got to have a little bit of gear there.
Yeah.
Oh, and Dirt Rooster with his pictures.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's one of the things I like about his. He's got those. He'll put some pictures at the end of the video.
Oh yeah,
on the beach. Well, I used to live in Galveston County, and I grew up in Southeast Texas and Houston area, and there's nothing like a sunset.
Oh, in Galveston,
there's nothing like a sunrise or sunset in that environment.
It's beautiful. I've been lucky enough to see that. It's just the only way I can get close to that is if I go out in my lake in the middle of the lake. It's just.
You got plenty of those up there in Minnesota. What is it? That 1,000 lakes.
Yeah, it's like 10,000 lakes. And I was up in Alaska in 2006, and my friend up there was like going, "Yeah, you guys are pretty proud of your 10,000 lakes." I'm like, I'm not touching this one. He goes, "Yeah, we got about 1 million."
Right.
Yeah, I think there's actually. I read something that there was actually more than that. A friend of mine. A friend of mine from Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Oh man.
So,
I don't know. It's I don't care. I live next to mine. I'm happy.
You never counted them.
Yeah, but you have winter.
Yeah.
I don't have winter here.
Except the North Shore Lake Superior. That is breathtaking. That is really neat. In fact, I got to share something with you guys. I'm up at this really nice restaurant, backwoods thing on the west shore of Lake Superior. This gal sitting there. It's a rainy spring day. It's really beautiful out. The gal that was like a table away from us, she was apparently from Arizona, and she just went off. She says, "I can't handle it anymore. All I'm seeing is trees and water, trees and water, trees." She was pissed. She wanted to go back to the desert. She'd had enough, you know. But,
You talking about photography? This is one I done for a local plantation here around my area.
Oh yeah.
Lee, look at the framing you got on that and the shadow lines.
There's streets in Houston.
Nicely.
I was
there used to be streets in Houston that looked like that were streets. Yeah.
Yep.
But Johnny, you've got to have some beautiful, like sunrises and sunsets in those ridge mountains there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We do. Actually, where I live, it's on Littlefinger. It's just at the very western edge of the Cumberland Plateau. And
so help me. What direction from Nashville is that?
Nashville is 90 miles west of me, and Knoxville is 90 miles east.
Okay. Yeah. See, I just have Nashville as a reference, so I apologize.
Yeah.
I know it's in North America.
Yeah. I'm right in the middle of those. That's two big cities, and about right in the middle of those.
Oh man, no.
That's the best place to be.
Yeah,
we have actually, Johnny. We've got something in southeast Minnesota that's almost identical to. It's called whitewater, identical to the rolling valleys and streams and whatnot in Tennessee. It's really, if somebody picked you up and dropped you, you think you'd be back home. But hey, Lee, what was that picture of the beehives that you had up right before that beautiful?
Yeah, that's one of his yards. That's nice.
Oh, the yard there.
Look how neat it is.
Let me pull up another one that I can show that, because everybody here I can't knock them out of the way.
I was telling Charlie the other night, he's got all these beautiful, like multicolored beehives there, and I was just telling him how pissed off I was at him because it looked like an artwork, pastels and okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Look at that. Wow.
See, that looks really nicely.
Oh, it's beautiful, man.
Even his 4x4s are painted.
Yep. I go ahead and protect them all, make sure they coated. I was painting some more today so I can set up my fourth yard. I got to bring all the blocks over there this Sunday.
So I want to ask you guys' opinion on something. I've just always had my beehives in a pair of concrete blocks. It's just, it's easy to get up and move around and so on. But somebody dropped off about 20 pallets here last fall, and I use them for windbreaks. And Minnesota, trust me, that's a big deal. But I'm looking at all these doggone pallets, and I'm thinking to myself, I was thinking about cutting those things in half and then putting the two beehives on each one. And the reason I would do that is that in the winter, then I could just squeeze the two beehives together and wrap them together. But have you guys had any experience with working with pellets? Because honestly, I'm not joking about this. My biggest fear about running anything on pellets is I'd be tripping over them. I'm not the most coordinated individual on the planet. I guarantee you I'd be falling over on those doggone things and but do you guys, any of you use pellets?
I haven't.
I haven't either.
No, I haven't. I see a lot of people using them on YouTube, though. The migratory.
Yeah. So I don't know.
But I never saw anybody cut one in half.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I'm looking at Lee's apparatus as the background here. I'm thinking he even painted the 4x4s.
Yeah, that was nice.
Everything I paint has at
I use
least
landscape
primer. I put at least
Landscape
2 coats of
timber?
primer on everything, and then 2 coats of finish.
Well, they look beautiful. They
There's
really
one
do.
I took.
Look at this.
That's Bob there.
Oh,
That's one I got down
nice.
in Florida.
that's sure enough down south.
Yeah, that was in Florida.
Yeah, the crescent moon there over the tree.
Yeah. That one was in Florida, but yeah, South Carolina is the crescent moon over a palm tree. That was with
That could be Houston.
So
Really?
That could be Houston.
I
They
missed
had
that.
they had palm trees all over the place down
No
there.
kidding.
Kids used to eat climb up and eat the fruit off of them.
Oh, that
When I
sounds
was
like
a
a good
kid.
idea.
Yeah, they grow there.
Yeah. DP, in all fairness, most of my time in Texas was spent around Rice University and just that immediate area there. So I really didn't. I got out to Renaissance Festival that was south of it for, like a day, but that was it. So and
You went
said
to Renaissance Festival when?
it was the year that that Renaissance, I was down there the year that the movie Titanic came out. So that was what, 99 or 2000?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't that long ago. I
Yeah.
used to do it back. I had a girlfriend and we did the Renaissance Festival, and that was back in 84,
Okay.
85.
They're fun.
So yeah, my grandfather helped build Rice Stadium. Him and
Whoa.
my Uncle Gene. Yeah.
Yeah,
him
we
and his
run
son.
around that. Yeah.
Those pine benches, hard as they are, those are loblolly pine.
Wow. It's a beautiful thing. I like that stadium. I do. It's the whole grounds there are just, they're neat. They plant trees. They thought ahead, and that kind of stuff. So bully
The
on.
Rice Owls.
Yeah, it's just really great. So what do you guys got going on for the weekend?
I'm about to go load my vehicle up here in just a sec for the farmer's market tomorrow morning.
and I got
We're
nada going.
We're
I got my
expecting some
wife
cold weather here. I'm
making
sorry.
me quit.
Okay. How about you, DP?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be cutting a couple of trees down on my lot here, get room to move my beehives farther back towards the back lot. And what's that?
What about you, Mike?
Yeah,
What are you doing?
Hey, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Lag time.
He said, "What are you doing this
Am
weekend?"
I
Mike?
lagging?
Oh, I'm going to be pulling maple
Me,
buckets.
I think.
Oh, you
Yeah.
cut the trees already?
Yeah, we're
Oh,
going to
wow.
be pulling maple buckets down, and then I think setting up the sugar shack, and we've got, oddly enough, DP, we've got some maple trees we got to take down because they're banging up against the wood mill shed. So we're going to be up there in the what do you call that crane? Cherry picker.
Mm.
So
Okay.
that's just kind of fun. You can get up there. It's just
The that
so
you talk about something expensive. You can make more money off maple syrup than you can off of
Yeah.
honey.
And you
Probably.
can
Never
actually
thought about that.
refrigerate it and it don't turn hard on you. Oh, we lost somebody.
We lost
Oh.
DP again.
yeah, no, we just so we pull in about. That's the Siamese that hid my camera for a month. Okay. No, we just make it just for our own personal use and our friends. We give a lot of it away and whatnot. But something? I wonder if you could make some maple syrup moonshine.
Oh,
Sounds
probably
bet I
good.
can.
Something to try.
I bet I can. He says.
I've got a friend that actually tried some maple syrup flavored moonshine in Gatlinburg, and he said it was delicious, but he got really, really sick. He drank too much.
Oh,
Yeah, well, you got to add this flavor in after.
oh my gosh. Okay. See, I was thinking it would be like
He said
you'd make-
it was really good though.
man, I was thinking it might be like making rum. So what do I know?
No. 110 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the evaporation point of alcohol. So when you run your still, you want to make it out of copper to try to absorb the sulfides. I might know something about this.
Just a little bit, huh?
Actually, I'm gonna grab something here. You've done your
Okay.
fair share, DP.
110 degrees Fahrenheit. You want to keep it close to that and keep the coil. Oh, there you go.
It's my
Uh-huh.
father thermometer thingy for it there. I can't
It's
remember
a
who it is, but there's
moonshine.
Someone say moonshine?
oh, God bless. What you got?
Apple pie.
Apple
Really?
pie.
190 proof.
Wonderful.
Oh my.
I think the best I ever made was pineapple. We'd have some sale for pineapples for $1 a piece.
Cheers.
And, yeah. Okay, Bob.
He's
Okay,
just
I have a
drinking.
drinking problem. You're not sharing.
Just don't light your cigarette while you're drinking that.
This is my honey jar. This is my moonshine jar.
It's a glorious thing, brother.
Hey, Bob, what's the price difference in the jars?
Well, I wish I
Well,
could
what
say
about Bob?
I distilled this. This is a faux moonshine. So every year at Christmas time, we have a family Christmas party, right, where everybody comes together. And I buy. This is only the remaining. This is my share of the batch that went out. Use 2 bottles of 190 proof Everclear.
Oh, okay.
A bottle of whipped cream vodka.
Ooh.
And of course, you got to mix the alcohol separate, right? And then you use brown sugar, white sugar, and cinnamon and clove, and you simmer that for 30 minutes. And then you let it come back to room temperature, right? Because you don't want to mess up the alcohol content.
Yeah.
And once it's at room
Oh
temperature,
God, no.
you mix it all together. Put your apple slices in there. You can see there's cinnamon sticks. Well, you can't see it now, but
you got the idea. Yeah.
Cinnamon sticks in the bottom, and you open up. Smells just like the apple pie filling. Tastes pretty good. When I divide it up, I usually put it in pint jars.
Okay.
But sometimes the pint jars with the cinnamon stick can make it more like a little too cinnamony for my taste.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does keep a kick, and I could probably light this apple on fire that's in here. You know.
That's why I told you not to light your cigarette, Jimmy.
So.
Okay,
the longer you let it sit, the better it tastes.
I just realized it's 11 o'clock and I got to go load a vehicle. So I'm gonna let y'all hang out in here. And
no, I'm gonna run here too. But DP,
I gotta go too.
Johnny
My
and
dog's
Bob and
making.
Lee, you guys have
It's
a
a
blessed
real
and
pleasure.
wonderful weekend.
y'all too.
Yeah, you guys
Okay.
stop in
Y'all too.
anytime. We appreciate you.
Hey, such a
Okay.
pleasure to
God
meet you
bless
guys.
all
And
of
thanks
you.
for letting me,
Very nice
thanks for
meeting
letting me
y'all.
drop in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Y'all
come in
come back
Okay.
anytime.
Go with God. We'll see you
Appreciate it.
guys.
All right, see you later.
Bye
Bless
bye.
y'all.
All right, guys. So thank you for dropping in, everybody, and we appreciate you watching. And we'll see you on the next go round, probably tomorrow night. The way it's been going.
Yep, most likely.
Oh, Saturday night is usually the No Life Beekeeper chat, right?
Yeah.
Because who's home on Saturday night but old beekeepers?
That's it. But I hope everybody had a good night watching. Y'all join in next time. We'll drop that link in the chat and y'all can come in with us.
And this is probably one of the only shows where you guys drive the content. So
Yep.
when you guys get on what you want to talk about, that's kind of where we go. We don't come on with any prearranged topics other than what we talk about in our yard, because that's what's happening to us. So, no problem. We just appreciate you did come on, did drop in. So, hey, if we come on tomorrow, just make sure you got the bell notification and you'll get a notification before we come on, and feel free to jump in with us. And we'll see you guys next time.
Have a good one.
Lee, have a good day in sales over at the farmer's market tomorrow. I'm sure we'll be talking.
Hopefully it'll be good.
All right. Talk to you later.
Good night.
Night.